change it over to. Alright, we should be live and public now.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
I mean, there's like a 10-second delay, but it do what it do.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Now we just wait and hope to God that someone actually clicks on this thing, and I have actually set it to public, which it says it has, but media source.
I love when if I just search history in the YouTube search bar for me, I get the Timeline channel, World History Documentaries, and One Direction History official video for the actual history thingy.
That's funny.
And then the next one is you.
Really? Oh.
Yep.
Okay, people are starting to filter in, so I'm going to get my model boat out and keep drilling out the portholes in the model boat while you ask me questions.
Okay.
Just
I have my
just a reminder, this was done through the Discord and everything, so
yeah.
if yous want to ask questions, the things in the Discord, it's in the thingy in the announcement channel, and you can still submit questions, and we will answer every single thing on this list.
To the best of our abilities.
Just to the best of my abilities.
Oh no, Farno has already asked. Well, Farno, you didn't ask the question
Yeah, you didn't ask
in
it properly,
the
so
yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna answer that.
yeah.
We're not gonna entertain.
We will not entertain this. I've got about 1,000 portholes to drill out on this model ship, so we've got time to ask both. Alright, we got 23. Start away.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm just needing to sign in after I crashed. Okay, so we'll kick off with the first question. And that's from Vin in the Discord, who's asking what your favorite book series is and why.
Depends on the book series. If it's fiction, toss up between The Lord of the Rings and the Aubrey Maturin series, the Master and Commander books. If it's non-fiction, I'm a big fan of Anthony Beevor's work. He writes phenomenally.
Fair enough. I'd say that the Master and Commander books are one of my favorites as
It's
well.
so good. Especially
It's
like
such a good series.
the Mauritius Command is the best one in my opinion.
So good. The next question, also it's from Farno,
Mm.
who asks, "What has killed more people, Russian guns or Russian maintenance?"
Guns, because everyone and their mother has an AK. Disastrous Dwarf. If you go into announcements, I just replied and pinged everyone with a message that has the link that you can go to this spreadsheet and ask questions.
The next question there is what's your general opinion regarding Spain historically and culturally? This is by Moth, who also in parentheses says, "Arriba España, alzad los brazos, hijos del pueblo español."
I am fascinated by Spanish history, evidenced by the fact I just did a 30-minute rant on what destroyed the Habsburg Spanish.
That's more than fair. And then we have
Oh, watch
a
that
question.
video if people haven't watched it, by the way. But
It is a really good video.
yeah,
Honestly, it's a really good video.
Spanish history is so underrated, and a lot of people don't look at it. It's worth watching. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. The next question is from Necron. Do you
Ew.
find that the economic factors in history tend to be downplayed or often not commented about as often as political or military factors in history?
Yes. They flat out are yes.
Fair enough. We have a question from Kenobi about what made you want to learn history.
HMS Victory. I kept renting the same little book every single time from my crappy little library in rural Queensland. It was actually a tourist guidebook from the Portsmouth Museum. and I read it cover to cover about 1,000 times. I actually found a copy of it the other day, and I bought it, and I adore that book just because of the memories it brings. It's nothing special, like it's all basic knowledge, but it means a lot to me. But ever since then, I have been obsessed with history and boats. Fun fact: before I loved ships and naval history, when I was about 5 or 6, I really liked trains, steam trains specifically. But that kind of fell off a bit.
Sure.
Although trains are cool, I love steam trains. Reject modernity, return to steam.
That's fair. Um. So we have our second question from Necron. And he asked if Goku could beat the Russian armed forces.
Considering we were just in a call with Necron, I want to tell him first that he needs to touch grass, and secondly, probably.
That's fair. That's fair. Fishy asks what the airspeed velocity of an unladen ME-262 is.
Is it African or European?
He didn't ask that, sadly.
Oh,
So
we
we'll
don't
never
know.
know.
I mean, I suppose if you get two of them with a string together.
Wouldn't it be a European or an Asian one? Because
Ooh,
technically,
yes,
technically, the Japanese did have one.
well, this is a good question. The big question is, would it reveal the identity of a witch?
That is true.
Yes, yes.
Or as Necron would say, yokai. You know, the bad spirits.
Anyway,
Next, so stupid. The next question is from James 1010, who asked if we will see another Wagner-style March to Justice in Russia.
I'm of the opinion that when revolution happens in Russia, if it does fall apart, which I do think it will if it keeps up this casualty rate, it will be a case of it won't be televised. This is not going to be something you see on the news. It'll be very quick, it'll be very sudden, and we will not see it coming. That's just my opinion, and it's sort of based off of history too. For example, the major coup that happened during the 90s and the fall of the Soviet Union is a bit more of an outlier in history. Normally, when major changes happen in Russia, it's quieter, it's brutal, it's quiet, and it's very, very quick. You can see this a lot during the Tsardom. You see this in the early Soviet Union quite a bit, particularly with Khrushchev and his coup, because Khrushchev did coup power. He did, he absolutely did. Brezhnev as well. Very quiet, very quick. So the odds of it actually being loud, it's a bit weirder. It sort of felt a little uncomfortable because it's like, hang on, this is a bit sus. Generally speaking, in Russia, you want things to be quick, you want things to be quiet, and you want the dust to completely have settled before the public even knows what's happened. So I don't think it'll be another Wagner-style coup. I think it'll be a lot quieter.
That's fair. Our next question is from Inmate, asking if you will ever make videos on events happening now, and because you have made passing comments on many things and made videos with part of the content being current events, and we did do a charity stream for Christmas to the a very, very nice orphanage that were victims of the Russo-Ukrainian war.
So,
and he's wondering if you would do more of it, essentially.
I'm actually working on a complete history of Ukraine from quite literally ancient history to modern history to today. Well, effectively, I'm going to end it in 2014 is when I'm going to end it. So that will be a complete chronology of history. I'm just getting ready to record the first part, which is the ancient history of Ukraine. So this is Roxolani, the Sarmatians, and the Greek settlements across the southern coast. That will be about probably 40 minutes to an hour long in itself, and that gets us up to where the Slavs start to become a bit more dominant in history. Then I have to get through the Zaporizhian Cossacks and the Zaporizhian host. Then I get through, and I'm not sure yet whether or not World War One and World War Two will be two separate videos or one big video. Haven't really decided yet. Yep. I feel like the Holodomor deserves its own video because it doesn't get enough spoken about it, because it was a genocide and people say it's not, and they're stupid. So you're gonna get contemporary history videos. It's gonna happen, but it's gonna take a little while. for me to get that all done. It's going to be probably 4 hours or so. I was talking to Animarchy about it because you want to know something shocking is a lot of us YouTubers actually talk to each other about what we're making. And I'm sorry, Thrasher. I force him to proofread some of my stuff occasionally, and I feel bad because of how bad my writing is when it's rough. But we try not to overlap topics with each other. We try to make it that we're giving you all the best kind of content we can. But it's just making sure that I have time to do it. And he and I were joking that this is going to be like a 4 hour long video, and I'm like, I'm not uploading all that at once. I just got a new PC. I'm not going to blow my graphics card making a 4 hour render at 4K. So
it's gonna be on the news if you do. It's gonna be like, man loses half of house.
But yeah,
exploding.
and we absolutely peer review each other. I just saw that pop in the chat. We do peer review each other, and it's like we are all going to make mistakes. We will all get things wrong. Any YouTuber who says that's in the history space that says they don't get things wrong, they're full of shit. They just absolutely are. Historians naturally make mistakes. It's what we do. The question is, look for the pinned comments. We'll always correct them. If someone's not correcting themselves, then you need to watch out, because that means that person does not care if they're wrong or not. Yeah. But as for contemporary history, getting a little sidetracked, yeah, I'm working on it a bit. I would like to do more on it. I would like to cover the Australian war in Afghanistan, in particular the media's hit pieces, absolutely going hell for leather on Australian servicemen who did nothing wrong half the time, and a few bad eggs made it worse for them. But it's down the road. I got stuff to do. I'm working on stuff towards the Holocaust at the moment. I'm working on something for the Greek Revolution because it's really interesting, and how it started is absolutely a meme. I have a bit of a kick for ancient Egypt right now, but there's another YouTuber who wants to touch that, so I'm not going to touch it for a bit. And of course, I want to do a bit more. I'm history of everything, and most people don't realize it. Like, a lot of my degree and a lot of my study is in the Soviet era and the Soviet Union, which Greek Revolution, the 1821 one, and it's the Soviet Union. But my favorite bit of history, the bit of history that makes me happy and I love, is actually the early modern period, so 1500 to 1788. That's the bit I love the most. So you're gonna get more talking about the War of 1812. It's just bloody Drakinifil put out a video on the Shannon and the Chesapeake 2 days ago, and I went, crap, that was my planned video for the next half of this month, which I've already written. So it'll be a while, but yeah, I hope that answers the question.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Coming. All right. The next question is from Beyond Plumbo, who's already in the chat, and he's wondering if you prefer fantasy or sci-fi.
That's tough.
Your favorite piece of media from either genre?
Okay, fantasy, 100% fantasy. Lord of the Rings is perfect in every single way, and I don't care what anyone says, except for Amazon, that can go and die. But I do love Lord of the Rings. I also love The Witcher. But Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, adore Narnia.
C.S. Lewis, yeah.
C.S. Lewis is amazing. I absolutely adore Narnia and Lord of the Rings. Fun fact for those who don't know: Tolkien and C.S. Lewis used to proofread each other's work. That's why there's a Numenor in both universes. It's a reference to each other because they were friends.
Another fun fact regarding those two writers is that the C.S. Lewis exhibition, because he's funnily enough, he's not, when people think about him as, what do you call him, as a staple British person, but he was actually born in Belfast.
Yeah,
so he's Northern Irish, and in East Belfast there's a big kind of like an exhibition for him, and Tolkien is mentioned quite often in the exhibition and the stuff there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
Like, I genuinely love, absolutely love to death, a lot of Lord of the Rings and such, but I mean, the Aubrey Maturin series is not really fantasy, it's based in history. I like some historical fiction, provided it's authentic to history. So Shogun right now, which is on TV, it's historical fiction, but it's authentic as hell. And it's so damn good. I am loving it. I can't stop watching episodes when they come out. Crap, I said that live. Necron would have heard it. No, I'm never gonna. I'm getting a DM non-stop. But As for fantasy, I do like my Grey Knights. They're fun for 40k. I'm not huge into 40k. I do just like the minis quite a bit, but for sci-fi, sorry, but I'm mostly fantasy. I do like sci-fi though.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand didn't make Lord of the Rings mainstream.
Just because it was filmed there.
Go away.
That's like saying that Northern Ireland made Game of Thrones mainstream because it was all filmed there.
Yeah, Sean, honestly, watch Shogun. It's so damn good.
It's amazing, yeah.
It's better than Masters of the Air. Yeah, I said it. It is. It is better than Masters of the Air.
Hugh Necron weeping out in chat.
He's gonna start screeching.
If we continue with the question from Mon, straight up to the 1990s, what single historical event, era, or topic would you talk passionately about the most for many hours?
The Royal Navy during the 1500s to 1700s. I'm starting a research project on that soon through university. And I absolutely adore that period. It's the evolution of the Royal Navy from a period of particularly vicious pirates through into the most professional and incredible fighting force in effectively human history, at sea at least. I'm not talking about on land. The US Navy is obviously the biggest navy that's ever existed, and it's the most powerful in terms of weaponry, but in terms of its evolution, the US Navy has a bit more of a clear-cut evolution, because it's originally this idea of a citizen militia of the sea, which just does not work. And that it's sort of, Congress goes, yo, we actually need a navy, so they make a navy. Sorry, Blip, could you just throw the link to the spreadsheet into the chat? Because a bunch of people want to ask questions, and let's just throw it in there.
Sure. I'll throw it into the chat for you.
Yeah. So the US Navy's evolution is a bit more clear-cut, and it makes a bit more sense. Whereas the Royal Navy's is a complete hogwash mess of both religious intolerance plus some kind of necessity for Catholics to make money, but it's dominated by the Protestants and it's dominated by the West Country. It's so complex, and of course you've got in the background you have the English Civil War, you have Cromwell, you've got the rise of the Dutch, you've got the Dutch Rebellion, you've got the Spanish Armada, and then it culminates all together with the Restoration, and then you have things like the Glorious 1st of June. Like, there's genuinely a battle called the Glorious 1st of June, which is based as all shit. It's really fascinating. I could rant about the Royal Navy in this period for probably a lifetime and a half, and just ships in general in this period. Like, I look to my right, and on a shelf are three models I'm working on. Is the Vasa, the Le Phoenix, a French 74 gunner from this period, and the HMS Prince, a British first rate from this period. All things I'm working on from this period, just because I adore this period. It's, like I said, the Soviet stuff is fascinating, and it's almost the most contextualized things that I can use to study at the moment. But and in terms of the best thing that will pay, because eventually I want to, I want to get my PhD. It's something I'm ideally working towards. But it's a case of making sure that, you actually do contemporary history as well. So not everyone wants to have the random guy in a corner ranting incoherently about gun calibers and how they are weird because the French have a weird kind of measurement system. But
they are a funny kind of people.
Oh, it's so annoying.
I posted the link. It's a forms link, just a Google form.
Did you put it in the stream chat?
I put it in the stream chat. Yes.
Where?
I can also post it again. It's 5 messages up.
And I think there's.
I'm Blibby's plan space, by the way.
I can't even see it
in the chat. No, yeah. Well, as long as they can see.
Do you want to just DM it to me, and I can post it as well? That way they'll see it.
Wow. Why are my forms never good enough?
I don't know. We're going to be here for a while, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while. It's 53 questions so far.
I'm building a model of the Mikasa right now, and I have only done a fifth of the windows that I'm drilling out with my little hand drill. So let's keep going.
Alright, well, the next question is from Thayer. And he asks, what public misconception on history, aside from those relating to Russia, angers you the most, and why?
I made a video on it. It literally came out today. The Dark Ages weren't real.
Yeah,
Go watch it. I premiered it like an hour ago.
it is a good video. I personally enjoyed it because I think it's a lot of people grew up in school with that being a thing.
Yeah.
Talking about how it was so bad, but people forget that it was worse before.
It's not an April Fool's joke. It's April 2nd in the civilized part of the world. Yes, I just called Australia
Yeah.
the civilized part of the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that like a third world country?
Th- Thank you, Sparrow. Alright, what we got next?
Next one is from Battery Acid Enjoyer. What are your thoughts on Polish history and Poland now, and also Poland history video? Question mark.
I actually study quite a bit of Polish history due to the fact I study in depth a lot of Ukrainian history and Eastern Steppe history, which means that Polish history comes into it a lot because Poland and Ukraine are very interlinked due to the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So I'm interested in it. It's not my top topic because, well, it just isn't. But I'm interested in it.
That's fair.
As for a Polish history video, you'll probably get something on the Siege of Vienna because it's somewhat linked to Lepanto, and I'm working on a video for Lepanto.
That's fair. The next question is from Arctifier. Byzantium video when?
Uh,
Never.
you know what? I'm gonna make a video one day called 1204 Best Year of My Life. It's when the Latins took over Constantinople, and you just gotta watch a sea of Greeks in the comments screaming.
Fair enough.
Actually, you know what?
Next one.
I know someone who wrote a very large essay on that. One of my admins actually British Samurai, so I might get him involved, and we might do something fun.
That'd be a good one. Our next one is from Oshborger, who asked what video was the hardest to make.
In terms of research, I've been working on this one video since probably I had 2,000 subscribers, so like 8 months ago, and it's a biopic of what's his face? I've been reading so much about Kuznetsov, Admiral Kolchak. Do you realize how difficult it is to correlate Kolchak getting shot in Irkutsk to the fact that it all began because a Slovak threw a rock at a Hungarian at a train station in Omsk? It's so... Ugh. And trying to dull that down into a 40-minute concise video that makes sense, that also doesn't disrespect the source material, is really difficult.
Yeah.
So that is something that's driving me nuts. I'm working on it, but yeah, I'll get there.
That's good. That's good. What's your favorite submarine and why? Asked Big C.
HMS Conqueror, because it did nothing wrong.
Fair enough. Next one is from Joe. 1 month aboard the Kuznetsov or 1 week at Verdun?
You're asking me whether or not I'd want to spend a week on Kuznetsov or a week at Verdun. Well, you know what? He didn't specify what time period in Verdun. So...
Oh, yeah. It could be like yesterday.
Yeah, I'll go spend yesterday in Verdun. It's actually quite nice in that part of France, apparently. So
Yeah.
let's go to Verdun. Although, if I went, if I was on
It's rolling
Kuznetsov,
hills.
if I was on Kuznetsov for a month, I would not go below decks. I'm not gonna lie, I just wouldn't without a respirator, and not an old Soviet respirator because they're full of asbestos.
That's very true. That's a hot tip to anyone ever buying like Soviet or Russian surplus. Do not ever think those gas masks work.
No, they're full of asbestos.
Like unironically, that like even if it's like it's new unissued, no, it isn't. Their newest stuff is like late 80s. It's gonna mess with you. The next question is from a very long name. I'm not gonna attempt to even. Yeah, it's Kiwi on YouTube.
I love
Why
that.
did Russian Federation, after the fall of the Soviet Union, failed so hard at capitalism?
Because it wasn't capitalist, it was an oligarchy that was trying to roleplay as a capitalist. Okay, so that's an oversimplification. So it tried its hand at capitalism, but at the end of the day, you can't really do capitalism when you have half the people going, "Ooh, yes, I'm going to take that." So to its faults, capitalism, while it can be corrupt and it can be very, very vicious, it has nothing on just how bad the oligarchs got. Laserpig's actually mentioned this before, and it's something I actually noticed when I was there. And he used the example of a lamp. Is if your office gets a lamp and you're the manager of that office, if you do not take that lamp because it is your lamp, you are now suspicious. So that's the kind of sort of hyper steely, insane kleptocracy that's going on there. So it's the fact that it's just so corrupt, and honestly, change does not suit the government in Russia. It doesn't. Change and actual progress is not a good thing if you are Putin, because it threatens your power base. It threatens your established ability to effectively rule. That's why the KGB, I mean the FSB, sorry, they will never allow massive change to occur. They won't allow that kind of forward momentum and thinking because it will cause them issues. So it's purely just down to a country can only change if its government and its people are behind it, and it's not going to do it. It absolutely won't. So you can say a lot about Australia, but Australia has made incredible bounds in the way that we treat our Indigenous peoples. Chalk and cheese compared to 70 years ago, honestly. But that only happened.
Or the Chinese.
Yeah, that only happened because the people wanted that to happen, and the government supported the people. People like Hawke exist. That would not have happened if the government put its back up against the wall and said no. And if our government had the power of the Russian government to basically shoot us in the head if we said no, we don't like that, we want change to happen. Reagan actually made a joke once. He said it was really Ronald Reagan, that is. He said he said that there was an American and a Russian were talking to each other, and the American was saying, we live in the best country because I could walk into the White House, slam my fist on the desk, and say, President Reagan, I don't like how you're managing the country. And the Russian went, yeah, I can do that too. And the American went, no, you can't. And the Russian went, yes, I can. I can walk into the Kremlin, slam my fist on the desk, and say, Mr. Gorbachev, I don't like how Mr. Reagan is handling his country. It's exactly what Reagan said, and it's true. Russians can't do that. They can't protest vote. They can't change their government. So they don't want the change. If the people don't want the change, the government don't want the change. Change will not happen, and that's just why Russia has failed so much. It really has. Also, you can't build an entire identity around chest thumping how great you are on the world stage. India's about to find that out the hard way. But when Pakistan's not really a thing that they can yell at anymore. But that's another thing.
That's a very, very good answer. The next question is from Daniel FRC 4450, who's asking if you would do more World War One content. He also says thank you for the good content and that they rewatch it quite often.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm actually working on a biopic on the generals Monash, one of the best generals in human history, who no one really knows about. Largely the inventor and developer of combined arms warfare. Most people don't know that, and one of the architects behind the 100 Days Offensive. All right. I just saw the next one.
Yeah. So from Lieutenant Brucius, boxers briefs or commando?
The answer is boxers, and anyone who doesn't say boxers is an absolute psychopath.
What about commando, though?
No, it's uncomfortable, and it's also dirty.
That's fair. You wouldn't want to make a racing stripe in your jeans.
Sake.
The next question is from USS Buck DD420. You have a time machine and go back to change any event without regard for context or effects, but only once. What do you change?
See, this is hard because now I want to do something funny. Because there is a chance to do some real funny things here.
Like eliminating briefs.
No, if I could change one thing in history, can you imagine how nuts it would be if someone just jumps back in history to like the Battle of Hatton and just dome Saladin in the back of the head with a shotgun, or Guy de Lusignan. It just goes, all right. The Crusade's going on. Guy de Lusignan is the problem. Let's dome him and see what happens. You,
So dumb.
can you
So
imagine?
dumb.
Can you imagine how funny it would be?
Stupid.
Just imagine the tapestry. It's just this guy in jeans and a t-shirt with a shotgun.
All I can think of is what is it? Is the what's the movie?
Kingdom of Heaven.
No, not Kingdom of Heaven. The one with the guy who gets sent to the fantasy world where he has the shotgun.
Oh, I don't remember.
That's an actual movie.
I don't remember.
Army of the
it.
Dark.
Yeah.
Army of the Dark. There we go. I think. But yeah, that'd be hilarious. So we have the next one from Canadian Dolphin Serve A123. Says congratulations, Admiral of everything. History on being promoted to lead American, British, Dutch, and Australian ships in the Dutch East Indies area in 1942. The governments ordered you to hold the line. You're not allowed to run away until your fighting forces has been rendered combat ineffective. Luckily, HMS Prince of Wales and HMS Repulse made an interior attack, and the USS Boys barely missed a reef. What would you do to inflict maximum casualties?
I'm not even kidding. I'm breaking my orders and leaving. It's not worth it. Without air cover, it's not worth it. I'm either staying next to Singapore, next to an airbase, or I'm leaving and just accepting the court-martial. History would like me better.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like,
What's your favorite boat?
favorite-
Regardless of looks and story, is it? Can I answer it? It's just HMS Victory.
It is. It's HMS Victory.
Yeah.
Although, like,
Yeah.
okay,
That-
it's HMS Victory, but, like, I have favorite boats for different areas, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
But if you'd pick your overall favorite, it would be HMS Victory.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that question was from Istas Lol.
I do love HMS Trincomalee. I'm an absolute. You know, we've been 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the stream. I am an absolute slag for frigates during the Age of Sail. I absolutely love them.
No wonder people think you're British when you go straight for the slag saying.
Yeah, if too many people think I'm British. It's weird.
I don't even know where they got the fact that you were Swedish from. You made
they're
the Sweden
bots.
video.
No, they're bots. They're Russian bots. They're calling me Swedish because I made a video about Sweden.
It's so weird. Like it's a weird thing to have bots focus on when it's just a thing. So
I'm putting in the link, by the way. If people want to ask questions, I'm putting the link to do it in the
Yeah.
chat.
it's just a Google form. You put in your Discord user or your YouTube user, both, whichever one you want. Put a question in you want answered by history. If for some reason you want me to answer one, I don't mind answering it. But otherwise, just fire away. We'll keep going.
Scrubby, we got over 100. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say keep every time the Google Doc updates, it's like you got 10 new questions.
There's about
yeah.
50 to go, but like it won't be too bad.
Yeah.
I've been advertising this for a while.
So the next one is from Jaden0010. How was your journey from history enthusiast to history YouTuber?
Well, to be honest, I used to work in superannuation, or for the Americans here, basically our version of 401k or pension schemes, that kind of stuff in Australia. And I was really bored on a work from home day because I used to work from home 2 days a week because everything was broken because, superannuation and company that doesn't like to pay for actually good tech. So I was like, you know what? I know a lot about the 2nd Pacific Squadron, and I got some books here. I'm just going to smash out a script. So I did. And then I recorded a video. Then I edited it. I had no idea what I was doing. Thankfully, my wife has 1,000 hobbies, so she already had Premiere Pro. And I just threw it together, put it up, and I went, you know what, that'll be it'll be like a little bit of a shitpost. We'll see how it goes. It's factual, but it'll be a bit of a shitpost. Woke up a week later, and it had over 60,000 views, and I had 1,000 subs. And I was like watching it as it went up, and I'm like, okay, this is going quickly. This is going very quickly. And then I went, you know what? I can use YouTube to make a little bit of extra money. We can go on like family holidays. Like we went down to the coast and got a little resort one weekend with my first YouTube paycheck, because the video went viral. And then I had this. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a video on the Kuznetsov. And then within, Kuznetsov is insane. That video, Russian Navy Sucks Part 3. It put the channel from like 8,000 subs to 20, and I'm like, you know what? I can actually do this
Yeah.
as a thing. I can make this
It
a
went
thing.
really fast up as well.
Yeah.
Like it was insane.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? I can do this as a thing. Let's do this. And I just did it, and I've been doing it ever since, and I've sort of been running with it. I've had a little bit of experience with, following algorithms and stuff before. So yeah, if you want to thank someone, thank my wife. She runs the Discord too, basically, at this point, because I'm too lazy to do it. And I just like playing games with the boys.
Hanging out with the boys.
The boys.
So the next question is from $100 Extreme. Will you ever make a video making fun of other Soviet related topics such as their auto industry or the story behind their first toilet paper factory?
Yeah, I got something funny about that toilet paper factory. It's an idea. Don't worry about it. It'll come. There's actually a lot. I want to do a lot on the Soviet nuclear industry, like Chernobyl and stuff. Just how absolutely nuts it is. Yeah, it's down the road. Like I said, contrary to popular belief, like I'm interested in Soviet history. It's fascinating, but there's more interesting things in history, and I think you would all do yourself a very good level of knowledge, and you'd have a lot of fun if I covered the funny stuff that happened outside of that, like Egyptian stuff, or and then. Like, I've got actually someone really, really cool who's a patron of mine sent me copies in French. So, I've had to Google Translate a lot of it. Of every single bit of correspondence sent by the Army du Nord during the Waterloo campaign. That was in a private collection, and every single bit that they could. So I've got like 5 volumes of just correspondence from the Waterloo campaign. From the French perspective, which is really, really fascinating, like letters from Napoleon and his marshals. I want to do stuff with that. It's really cool. Another awesome sub of mine sent me a signed copy of Gulag by Anne Applebaum. I want to make videos on things like this as well. I just don't want to. I don't want to focus just on Soviet history, although I know it's topical at the moment. So yeah.
That's fair. We have a double whammy question here from Nixit.
Yep.
So we start with the silly question. What is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything?
42.
Okay. It's a quick fire answer to a quick fire question. The serious question is, what's your take on the supposed parallels between the events leading up to World War One and recent events?
It's closer to World War Two. Okay. History does not repeat, but it rhymes. What we're currently seeing right now is you can draw a very, 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 very open parallel between, yes, a Storozhevoy video is coming, between the Anschluss and Chechnya. Like, not in terms of violence. Actually, no, Chechnya is more Kristallnacht. Sorry, not Chechnya, Georgia. What happened to Georgia is very close to what happened with the Anschluss. What's really insane is when you look at the difference between the Munich Diktat and the Sudetenland crisis and Ukraine. The Sudetenland is, in my opinion, parallels so close to what's happened with Crimea and the Donbass. And what we're seeing right now is Czechoslovakia saying no and kicking the ever-loving shit out of the Nazis, which I wish they had done. I wish they'd been able to do. So, although history is not the same, it does not repeat, it rhymes. It rhymes very closely. And what we're seeing right now is people trying to appease the unappeasable. And that is something I just do not abide.
It's a very good answer. Next question is from Corporal Tommy. It's actually a question that I'm also quite interested in. It's, would you do a video on the Royal Navy trolling other navies?
Oh, good God, yeah. It's so funny. There's so many funny things.
Because I personally would love to
Oh,
hear about like the 3 times the Royal Navy dabbed on the Danish for us. Like
oh,
it's
I was thinking funny as shit. Like when they secretly snuck in front of the French to be the first in the Suez Canal, like stuff like that. It's so dumb. I want to do it, but it's just time. And a lot of the problem is a lot of these videos won't last more than 15 minutes, and I don't really want to go under 15 minutes. See, I when I look at my like the guys in the we'll just call it the extended Laserpig cinematic universe, as Laserpig himself dubbed it. They like to do long form content for the most part, like Thrasher and Pig and Animarchy. They do really long form content, whereas I feel I can fit that bite-sized 20-minute, 30-minute niche where you could watch me on your lunch break, or if you want to just watch something in bed before sleep, you don't have to sit down for an hour. That's not saying don't watch their stuff. Absolutely do. They make amazing stuff. I'm trying to fit a sort of a smaller niche, but I don't think a 5 minute video is long enough, and I don't want to make shorts because I'm not a neo-Confederate LARPer with nothing better to do in my life. So I want to make good content that is about 15 to 20 minutes, and some of these videos just won't really fit, so I need to work on like sort of combining like 6 or 7 things into one video, and it's just something I'll get around to.
sounds good. Um, from an S to D tier list, where would you rank the flag of Quebec? That's
Uh,
Turgeon 1, 2,
I
3.
would say A because it's amazing. I wouldn't put it in S tier purely because it's from Ice Australia.
Fair enough. Have you ever been so drunk you fell into a bush?
I know who asked that. I feel like I know who asked that, and the answer is yes, and you have a photo of it.
Fair enough. Crafton Fur is asking what your opinion is on the Australian Republican movement and the monarchy's position in Australian governance.
I'm not going to answer the second bit because that goes into politics too much, but the Australian Republican movement is about as well. I'd rather eat a rotten egg. Absolute dumbasses. All they care about is power for themselves, and they can go and suck a cactus.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Will you ever make a video on the defection of Alexander Suyev? He defected from the USSR to Turkey in 1989.
Yes, yeah, I am. Don't read the second part because that gives away some of the jokes. But yeah, that is on my list of things to do.
That's very good. And that question was by Titan 100.
Mhm.
Something exists as, in your opinion, how many more Russian Navy sucks will there be
Uh,
when they stop fucking up?
okay, the series is not going to be called Russian Navy Sucks anymore. It's just going to be different tales of funny shit that's happened. Like, I think I've rammed home the point that it's dog shit at this point. But there are other stories I want to tell, like the Storozhevoy. But it's not going to be called The Russian Navy Sucks. It's going to be called The Real Hunt for Red October. Stuff like that. Like, I did a video recently on the Krasny Kavkaz. It's Soviet Naval Tales or something I called it. It's like the third most recent video. It's even got Waltz the Flowers in it. Consider that a spiritual successor. It's a phenomenal topic, and I liked that. I liked that topic quite a bit. But yeah, I'm moving away from that. Mostly, one, I want to be more advertiser friendly, and two, I've already made that point 5 times now, 6 if you count the fact that I've remade the first video. So I want to do more. I am history of everything, not history of the Russian Navy being dog shit. So
That's fair enough. To answer SP Gaming's question there in the chat, I'm one of the admins of the Discord.
he's the OG admin of the Discord.
Yeah, I was member number 2. I was in the Discord before his wife.
Yeah, I basically, so what happened is I made the Discord and I went, "Oi, build it!
Do this for me.
I'm not paying you."
I'm still owed a zinger meal from KFC.
Yeah, I'll buy you one.
That's okay. I can't accept charity from the man I bought for 3 Singer meals from your wife. But yeah, no, I'm just one of the admins. I've been in history a while, and most of the admin team has. We're just vibing.
Yeah, all my admins are basically my IRL friends, so you know.
We're just vibing. On to the next question. Who made the pavlova?
It's Australia.
It's a very loaded
The
question,
answer,
yeah.
the answer is Australia, and
The question is by Moonraker.
he's a
and,
Kiwi. Moonraker's a bloody
yeah.
Kiwi.
In
Pavlova,
parentheses, obviously the correct one after New Zealand.
Pavlova is Australian, and New Zealand is not a real country and doesn't deserve to exist.
Fair enough. The next question, I actually, do you like licorice?
Licorice.
Would you say you're a fan of licorice?
I like red licorice.
That's not really the same. It's more the black kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
so
don't like black
in-
licorice. My mother was obsessive with it, so I just remember being a small
Okay,
child
yeah.
eating horrific licorice all the time.
That's fair enough. Regarding that, August 4795. It's our resident Finn. He asked if you ever tried salmiakki, and he asked, "Why haven't you? Why are you wasting your time? Then you only live once." It's a very salt. If I recall correctly, they have a very salty one.
Believe it or not,
'Cause-
I'm geographically a little far from Finland, so no.
So what you're saying is August should send you a box of salmiakki, and then we're gonna force you to eat it.
Oh god, okay, whatever.
That Devin Butcher asks, when was your favorite gay time?
I can't actually say it, but I had one the other day after I picked up my kid from school. For the record, a gay time is an ice cream in Australia, and the marketing is quite literally it's hard to have a gay time on your own.
We've had many gay times over the years.
Yes. You know, the fun thing about a golden gay time is it confuses the ever-loving shit out of Americans, because you can quite literally go, I'm going to go have a gay time with my kid, and like it's just you're going to have an ice cream together, and it's delicious because it's a vanilla ice cream covered in like
it's
a
a really good ice
fudge,
cream.
covered in chocolate, covered in little biscuit
Yeah.
crumbs, and it's just it's so good.
It's an amazing ice cream. Honestly, I'm really happy that Sweden has a similar one, which is with just more vanilla, but it's more or less the same, and it's so good.
If anyone wants to look it up, I recommend looking up Golden Gay Time ad Australia on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's so funny, and Bluey is god
there's
tier.
so many of them. So, Italian Man with an Attitude asks, would you be interested in making a video series about the Italian unification wars?
Working on it, actually. I've got most of the script there, but working on it.
Oh, that's good. The next one's from Thunderfox. If I was wondering if you plan on doing the Russian/Soviet Navy sucks on the K-129 submarine.
K129's getting a story. It'll get a story eventually.
We'll get there. The next one's from Wildcat, and they're wondering if you believe Russia could become a successful democracy. If so, how?
At this point, probably not. For at least another 50 years. The only way I see Russia becoming a successful democracy is if you completely execute every single person who is in power, destruct the entire government, and get rid of it. Fardo actually pointed this out. The only way that Russia's going to fix itself and actually become a successful democracy is,
By stop being Russia.
oh, this is going to upset the Vatniks if they watch at this point. Occupation.
Yeah.
They need to be occupied for at least a decade. Like the Germans were after World War II. In the West, not the East. The East was horrible. That's going to upset some people. That's going to upset so many people.
So what you're saying is we need to occupy Moscow.
Yes.
Well, good that NATO got Sweden and Finland. And
I
export
actually...
marching east.
Can you imagine how funny it would be to have a Finno-Swedish occupation of Leningrad? Also, sorry, I keep calling it Leningrad,
yeah.
St. Petersburg.
Yeah, no, it'd be hilarious. They, they'd switch all the road signs to either to be Finno-Swedish
Yeah.
with no Russian allowed. It would end up being like going to the Hague because it would be ethnic cleansing.
Belarus needs the same treatment. Honestly, what Belarusia has done to, which is called Belarusia, what the Belarusian government has done to Belarusia is absolutely disgusting. It is nothing
Yeah.
more than a genocide. What has happened to the Belarusian language is a cultural genocide, and it's
Yeah.
disgusting. Patton was not right. The Nazis were fucking horrible. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, no worries. Jesus Christ. So from Just Another Wanderer slash Perfectus Hispania Superior.
Oh, he was the first
Uh,
actual. Okay, side note. He was the first member of the
mhm.
Discord. That wasn't you, because I don't count you because you're an admin and friend of mine. He was the first member of the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Would you consider for the future doing more videos like your Napoleon one, talking about either good or bad historical films? Keep up the good work, baby.
Does anyone want Yeah, I'll ask it. Do people want more movie reviews? Because like I kind of had fun ripping into Napoleon. I'm not even kidding. I went to watch Napoleon with a notepad and a pencil to start writing out down issues that were with the film.
He posted in the Discord, and I when I saw it, I was like, this is the most history thing ever. And then multiple admins, including myself, did the same thing. And there's like I think it was in the admin chat. There's like a convo from when it was released, and you see like four of us sitting like with legs across with a notepad on the side with a pen
With
in the
our
movie
boots on.
theater.
With our boots on. We had
Yeah,
boots
we
on. I had
got boots
RMs
on.
on.
We got boots on. Yeah, yeah. We got our boots on. Yeah, no, it was wild. It was such a funny thing.
Yeah, no.
I'd say
I mean, I
it's
do
just
them.
one of those things.
Yeah, I'd do
Yeah.
them if people like it. Okay, the thing is, if people want to watch it, I'll do it. But I mean, it'd have to be movies that come out, like new ones and stuff. Like, I'm not going to go back and go, "Hey, Greyhound was crap," because the fucking any movie that
Ah,
depicts the Battle of the North Atlantic and has the German sub commander going "Ooh" into the radio makes me want to actually commit violence. Like, oh,
so funny though.
it was so dumb. I heard
Um,
that and went, really? Really?
it's something they did. Obviously they researched this for the movie.
Well, yeah, German sub commanders were all famously furries.
Yes, confirmed. The next question is from Necron. With how interconnected events in history are, do you have any issues setting cutoff dates for topics to avoid blot? If so, how do you do so?
It's actually one of the hardest things historians have to do is to try and find cutoff dates. Sorry if you can hear background noise. I am genuinely sitting here for the people who aren't aware with a hand drill drilling out portholes in a model ship that I'm building. So cutoff dates are really, really hard. One of the doctors who I'm talking to at the moment, who ideally will be overseeing my honors thesis, will be he describes it as so he breaks modern history into three distinct parts. So he calls it early modern history, being about 1453 with the fall of Constantinople and the start of the Italian Renaissance, and you move it forward to 1788 in the French Revolution, and then you've got modern history in itself, which goes until what is considered is colloquially the end of history, which is 1991 and the fall of the Soviet Union, and then he calls the period we're living in now contemporary history because it's where we sit and where we live right now, and it's contemporary to us. What's really interesting is there's another school of thought argument that wants to bring the end of history to 9/11 because a lot of people consider the end of the Cold War and the end of that Cold War mentality to really be 9/11 because that's when things sort of change and a lot changes for people. So it's really difficult to do. We all do it a little differently. I personally argue that we should consider the start of early modern history to be the fall of Granada and Christopher Columbus's, in air quotes, obviously, discovery of the New World, because that actually happens 6 months apart from each other. Most people don't realize that happened, like the last Muslim kingdom in Spain only falls 6 months or so before Columbus gets back and goes, yo, I found India, but it's not actually India because Columbus is a dipshit. So I personally think that's where we should start early modern history, because that's really when things start to change very quickly. And I agree that it should end at the French Revolution. Although there are some people who will make this is again very Eurocentric. So a lot of people will make these different gaps and different eras based on the period they're studying. So if you're an English historian, you will actually start early modern history with the Spanish Armada and the or Henry VIII. You won't start it where someone else will. In general history, though, just because of the way that colonization affected the world, I would start it the same year that Granada falls and Columbus gets off into America. But that's just me.
That's a good one. So the next one is from Legato, who asked, "What the hell is going on with the Taipan fleet?"
Does he mean Taiwan?
I'd assume Taiwan.
It's trying to modernize. It's trying to modernize. That's all. Like it's doing pretty good. It's vibing.
It's getting there. Yeah. History Vanguard asked, "What got you into history in the first place?" We've answered this.
Yeah, it's HMS Victory.
Yeah, it's HMS Boat is the answer. Boat.
Big boat. HMS Victory has part of my sculpt in its woodwork because I'm 6'4" and I donked my head on its lower decks. I actually donked my head and gave myself a migraine not even 5 feet from where Admiral Nelson died, so it is what it is.
So what you're saying is you're the reincarnated Admiral Nelson.
I actually have a bit of the coppering from HMS Victory's hull. It's really, really cool. You can buy it still because they're refitting it at the moment.
That's very cool. Yeah. We also have from Corporal Tommy there, will you do a video series on the Royal Navy trolling on other navies? We've answered that, and the answer was yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely.
And occasionally on fellow Royal Navy officers.
Yeah, I want to talk about.
A few of them.
Yeah, I want to talk about the evolution of the officer and the idea of captain, and the fact that the Royal Navy is built around this idea of hyper-aggression, which is why Jellicoe during the Battle of Jutland, well, after the Battle of Jutland, gets so much crap, is because he's a much more conservative officer, whereas the Royal Navy is very much, the mentality of the Royal Navy is that of hyper-aggression, and it's born out of Admiral Nelson and that kind of stuff. So eventually, again, I want to talk about that evolution, but yeah. If you have a question, by the way, put it into the thing, and make us stream for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, use the link that History just posted. It goes to a Google form. It will be in the Google Doc I'm currently reading out of. It's actually just an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
We'll be here for a little while yet, so hopefully we'll get through them.
Fuck me! I just saw how much it's updated.
Yeah, no, I was going to say we're on a total of 122 questions. So at least another 70 questions there.
Dubs, I've already done a Jutland video. You should watch it. It's good.
The Jutland video is really good.
I upset so many people with that.
I would also like to say that the second longest serving ship in the Royal Navy, she's no longer commissioned, was HMS Caroline, and she is currently moored in a wet dock in the Belfast Harbour.
Absolutely.
You can actually visit her and walk on her.
Support your museum ships. They can only stay afloat if you support them. Pay money, go and see them. Buy stuff from their gift shops.
Yeah.
Before you give me money, spend.
And that even if you can't visit the museum itself, they always accept donations because they, like HMS Caroline, for example.
Wait, OBS just dropped for a second.
Oh.
Everyone should still be here. OBS should be back up now. Yep, should be back up. OBS just gave me a notification saying it had dropped, but it should be good now.
I think we're still up.
Yeah, there's still 84 of them, so it's working.
Yeah, you can support your museum ships even if you are near them. If you have your favorite ship, you can still donate to them, whether they be American, British, Australian, Japanese. They're all there. You can still donate to them on their web pages, and it's very important.
Particularly for Queenslanders. Now, I'm from Queensland in Australia. That's where I grew up. If you're in Brisbane, go and see the HMAS Diamantina. It is the last river-class frigate ever in the world from the Second World War, and it is at risk because the Queensland government wants to redevelop that part of Brisbane for apartment buildings. They want to scrap it. It is a beautiful ship. Go and see it. Give them money. They just scrapped a genuine old steam tug to try and make some money to make that area into high-rise buildings. Support the HMAS Diamantina. Or complain to the Queensland government and call them stupid and smelly. Because they are stupid and smelly.
Call them stinky.
Call them stinky poo-poos.
They're stinky pee pee poo-poos. Hefish asked if you have any Canadian historical tidbits you like / find interesting.
Yeah, I want to do a little bit on... I can't remember his name. He was one of the first governors of Canada, or I think it was Lower Canada. But he's really, really interesting, and he's often just vilified massively in American history because he was kind of a dick during the Revolution to the Yanks. But he's a very, very interesting person. His gravesite in the UK, I believe, is technically legally part of Canada.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I also want to do like the Hudson Bay Company, Northwest Passage, that kind of stuff. Oh, I want to do Terror and Erebus. I absolutely want to do Terror and Erebus at one point, but yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Pretty cool. Yeah, no, I'd personally like to see one on the Canadian war industry in both World Wars, because they
cool.
cranked out some wild stuff, kind of like the Australians. They cranked out some wild stuff for their own guys because the production wasn't enough from the UK to kind of fill all the spots. So it's kind of cool. The next one's from Aussie. We've already answered this. What part of the UK are you from? I can't quite place the accent.
Oh, I'm from Upper Little Cockington.
Oh, such a silly one. Uncle Guy asks what your favorite general from the 18th century is.
Yeah, he's there. Wellington.
Yeah. I said it's a pretty given choice. Nivdes asks, would you rather go on a tour in a Russian submarine, work as an Aeroflot steward, or tour the Titanic wreck in an experimental submersible?
That's tough. You know what? I'd tour the Russian sub because I got a bit of a better chance of getting out of that, and at least it'll be a cool story at the end of it. And hey, I've already flown on a Russian airline before, so what's the worst that could happen?
That's fair. Next one is from Eurofighter. Do you hate Margaret Thatcher?
Yes, she's the sole reason the Falklands War happened. She's not the sole reason. The Argentinians did it, but she is quite literally worshipped for being shit. And she's worshipped for in some circles by a lot of conservatives for the fact that she won the Falklands War. She didn't do shit. She is part of the reason the Falklands happened because she was actively trying to sell them to Argentina to make money. She sold out Hong Kong, which she didn't have to because not all of Hong Kong was bound by that treaty, and she sold off millions of people into literal subservience to a dictatorship. She is not a good person. And I am sick of people pretending she is because of the Falklands. The Royal Navy won the Falklands. Thatcher was just there and got out of the way.
Yeah, we can see the long-term consequences of Thatcher giving up Hong Kong, for example, to China.
You know, it was like 13% of the British economy when she gave it up and she didn't have to.
Yeah.
Absolute dumbass. Yeah, Thatcher made it worse. The only reason Britain got the Falklands back was because it had the carriers. Thatcher had already sold those carriers. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, it's an insanity. Do you think that Admiral Kuznetsov will ever set sail again?
Fuck no. No.
And then a bonus question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how funny do you think it would be if it was added to the Black Sea underwater exhibit?
Not very, because one, it's probably more of a victory to Ukraine to have the Russians keep it because it's crap.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It would make it harder to clean up.
If HMS Ark Royal was still at the Falklands, we would have had a catapult-launched F4 carrier with all sorts of strike aircraft there, and Argentina would have been even more fucked.
That's fair.
Thank you. It's that funny name here.
GamerFan 844 asked if it's fair to compare the loss of the Moskva to the sinking of the German battleship Bismarck, considering both have a lot of similarities.
Nah, not really. I don't think they're that similar, to be honest. I mean, hubris is hubris, but yeah, I don't think it's that close. I would. There's not really much to compare it to. It's more just the fact that the Moskva is a pile of dog shit. the Bismarck, while it wasn't great because it had a lot of fundamental engineering issues, it was still in a lot better condition than the Moskva was.
That's fair. The next question is from Roadblock, asking sus.
Yes.
Fair enough. Next one's by Wolfpack562. Given your interest in the Navy, I assume you have researched other countries' navies as well. So my question is, in your opinion, what Navy do you think can punch above its weight? And then they add their own little tidbit that they say they'll probably be the South Korean Navy with their new Sejong the Great class destroyers.
So I'm about to reveal something that is quite embarrassing. One of my favorite things to do when I'm particularly bored or it's late at night or I'm just sitting on the toilet is to pick a random country and research what navy it has and what it's doing. Which is why I know so much about the Nigerian Navy or the Kenyan Navy or the Israeli Navy or the fact that the Ecuadorians used a Dutch cruiser for a while. I don't know why I do it. I've always done it. I find it interesting. Don't question it, but yes, the South Korean Navy is quite strong.
If I may, I would like to add my own.
And no, I am not autistic.
You could have fooled us, Mr. Hyperfixation.
I don't have a hyperfixation. If it's a hyperfixation, it's been one that is like not caused me to have many issues because I'm just interested in many things. So it's not.
That's fair enough. I would actually like to add Sweden's navy to a country that can punch above its weight.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it only currently has 3 corvettes, but the submarines.
Oh yeah.
The submarines, they're goners. Like it's. I think it's one of the. I would say like even the Danish kind of and Norwegian concept of like their coastal patrol vessels could punch above the weight.
They do
because they carry so many things that you don't really think about for a coastal vessel.
Exactly.
We have a question from Jedwa. Are traps / femboys gay? :3.
Okay, this is a complex one. Now, traps and femboys, they identify as men, and they have wee-wees, which means that they are, in fact, gay.
Well, not necessarily. It's more the people that find them attractive would be gay because they find the concept
of
a man in women's clothing gay.
Yes.
The femboy / trap themselves doesn't need to be gay.
Yes.
Because
the femboy / trap itself may not be gay, because I know quite a few men who are very straight but also look like femboys. So if you want to put your wee-wee in the trap, you're gay.
I was gonna say half the admin team at this point, to be honest.
No, Fano just looks like my little brother. It's actually really funny.
It's wild.
It's really funny.
It's so wild. Next question from Lieutenant Australia. Will they ever do a collaboration with Little Boots Productions?
No.
Sizzler's Neo Confederation.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. No. I mean, you know what? I probably would for the meme of it, but I'll take a sponsorship from Raid's Shadow Legends for the meme of it, but no.
Next question is from Eminent. Seeing your videos on Russian naval debauchery, will we ever see a video on US submarine shenanigans involving boats such as USS Halibut and USS Seawolf?
Maybe.
Fair enough. Next question by Ellie. Have you watched Serial Experiments Lane?
What's that?
I don't know. Call Necron.
Necron? Is it a weeaboo thing?
Yeah, it's a weeaboo thing.
Okay,
yeah,
I don't watch anime. I shower.
Do you want me to give you a rundown?
No, please.
It's about a junior high school girl.
Why would I watch that? No.
And her middle class family. It's underlined middle class family.
No. Like I said, I don't watch anime. I shower.
So not a question per se. Just want to tell you that your work is greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Keep up the good works. Hugs from Italy. That's Epsilon Kappa. Fat Moose 420 says Rob Ford video when?
I haven't got anything planned.
That's fair. When is the cooking video? Asks Artyom.
I I don't know actually. Um,
We should do one.
should I?
100%.
I feel like you could just watch Tasting History for that.
Yeah, but well, why would we do that when we have history of everything? Are you not history of everything? Are you saying food history is not included?
Well, not really, because like Tasting History just does it so well.
Yeah, but like tasting history does it well. I don't think like I wouldn't want it to go well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? We'll try and I'll do a video one day. I'll get the cookbook for Admiral Nelson's like ships, like feeding Nelson's navy, and we'll make like lobscouse and stuff on like a video, and it'll go to absolute hell.
Yeah, see, that'd be a good one. I'd watch that.
God. All right.
And
Hard tack time.
the
Let's
next
go.
one, yeah. Next one is Origin of Cintria. What comes to mind when you think about something I never believed actually happened was possible until I saw the evidence?
Just 90% of Russia's existence. Like,
Because that's of catching fire in a dry dock, for example.
yeah, the fact they dropped a crane on it. That's a thing. That's a thing.
And
Yeah.
it's just a weird. It's one of those weird things. Like a G-man asks, what in your opinion is the best and worst non-American NATO army?
I mean, best. Oh, wait, non-NATO. No, wait, NATO, non-American.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
the worst non-American NATO.
I want to say it's a top-up between Britain and France. Honestly, go back and forward. Poland's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but
Yeah,
like big isn't necessarily good.
that's
Um,
true.
so like somewhere between Poland, Britain, and France for army. Just flip between
For the
that.
best one.
Yeah, I mean they all do slightly different things. Like a Leclerc is apparently an amazing tank, but so is the Challenger too. But they do different things. So you know,
And so is the Leopard as well. Like
yeah.
they're
So
all
is the
kind
Leopard.
of
They're all great. It's just yeah.
yeah. Uh, I would put Turkey for the worst because
Oh
no other
yeah.
country in NATO has anti-suicide prevention for their trigger guards
Also,
in their
do you
army.
know the Turkish army technically is the largest state owner of gay pornography in the world?
That is kind of funny.
It is true because, like, okay, so this is going to be fun. So there was a legal thing in Turkey for a long time. It's not a thing anymore. Where if you were a gay man, you can join the Turkish military if you are a top, but not a bottom. So you had to make a porno and prove to the army that you were a top and not a bottom, and that it was kept on file. So technically, Turkey is the largest state owner of gay pornography.
To be honest, that makes so much more sense. It's not gay if you thought.
Exactly. It's that Roman mentality. It's that Roman Sigma mindset.
You're only homosexual if you're the one receiving. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, the Eastern Romans at it again.
Uh,
Next one's by James Wallace, PT. What is the most underrated part of history that more people should know about?
Fall of the Roman Empire. Not many people actually know much about the fall of the Roman Empire. Like the last century of West Rome specifically.
Yeah. Another giant ass long YouTube name. It's the guy who thinks he knows the origin of Putin's Bismarck quote in the Tucker interview.
Oh yeah,
What was your favorite-
I remember that comment.
Yeah. What was your favorite aspect of studying history?
It's when you find the funny shit. Like, you remember the video I did on the East India Company about the French admiral
Yes.
who thought that he was attacking warships, but he was attacking merchants?
Yes.
I didn't include it, but he was actually captured by the British because he was attacking warships thinking they were merchants 6 months later.
Oh,
It's so funny. Lenoir, that's his name.
that's a wild one. The next one is well, actually, I'll let you guess who this is. If you could own any firearm, not a specific instance, but a model, which one would it be, and what's the presumably historical reasoning behind it?
Hi, Joe. It's a 32-pounder British naval gun. Do you realize how funny that would be? Like, I live in an apartment, I could put it on my balcony with just an empty charge and wake people up by firing a 32 pounder every morning. It would be hilarious.
So instead of the 1 o'clock gun in Edinburgh Castle, it would be like a 5 a.m. gun.
Yeah! 5 a.m. 32 pounder. Boom!
I see. That's so dumb. John Lamont, second 55, asks what made you want to dunk on Russian warships so much.
I was bored and I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And
good enough reason.
And it's true, like, nothing I've said is made up, it all happened.
Yeah. Big Zed asks what piece of military equipment has the funniest story in your opinion?
F-15's pretty high up there. Yeah, it's pretty high up there. Aurora's story, the cruiser, is absolutely mental, so that's a thing. I don't really know
fair.
about anything particular.
That's fair.
Yeah, MiG-27 is quite funny.
MiG-27 is nice.
Oh!
Well, yeah.
It's not military, it's civilian. The quad-engine variant of the Tu-104. It was a prototype. It looks hilarious, and honestly, the Tu-104 is a death trap, so, you know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a insane, insane bit of engineering. It's like dark arts. Being on Fire 0080. If you could see one historical battle, what would it be?
Trafalgar. Like, I don't think it would be like, oh, actually, oh, no, it's at night time, so Abukir Bay wouldn't be great because it's night time. But Trafalgar would be just... Trafalgar or Gravelines with the Spanish Armada. Both would be incredible just to sit and watch. Because just so much is happening.
What about, so you wouldn't include, like, any of the coalition battles on land, or, like, would you...
Oh, Waterloo would be phenomenal. Leipzig.
Yeah.
Leipzig would be incredible. Or Austerlitz. But,
That's fair.
yeah.
That Irish guy says, I'm just here for the sarcastic anti-tone.
Oh, thank you.
Emilio VA asks, will you ever do another video talking about the Australian Army in Vietnam? I really enjoyed your long time video.
Honestly, probably not. That video did not do well. I did it because it was, you know, a topic I wanted to cover, but it didn't really do well. So, maybe.
Fair enough, yeah. Next question is from bro.mp3. Would you ever consider doing a video on Canadian war crimes just for the memes? I know that the other two freezing Canadians that follow you would like that.
Yes.
Fair enough. Next one's from Sam Starkweather. In the context of your videos critiquing the Russian and Soviet navies, at what point do you think the Russian or Soviet Navy have been at their most capable compared to their adversaries? In other words, at what point do you think the Russians came close to meeting or exceeding the capabilities of adversaries?
The 1700s. When the Turks were their only adversary. See, a weird thing that a lot of people like to simp over in my comments is, but what about the Battle of Sinop? What about that one? Yeah, if you look at the statistics on that battle, that's like someone with a 9mm pistol walking up and trying to fight someone with an automatic shotgun in terms of the disparity of shell weight, the disparity of ships, and the disparity of fire.
Yeah.
So the Russians absolutely outnumbered the Turks at that point, and that's probably the one time they're better than their adversaries. And no, they were not better than the Western navies during the Cold War. That was never a thing.
I would like to add another time they actually were better or meeting the capabilities of their adversaries. A lot of the wars in Northern Europe, Russia employed coastal raiding.
Yes.
Like they were outside Stockholm at one point. Like they were like bang smack in the middle of Sweden multiple times, where they just landed a group of like 400 dudes, and then just wreaked havoc and then ran away as the army chased them out of the off the shores again. So they were quite good at that for like up to 400 years.
Just
you know,
put a bit of
up
plastic
until they took Finland.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
essentially they were doing it. Next question is from Linky8U from the Discord.
Oh, he's a patron.
2 questions. Yeah. Will you ever make a video on how to invade New Zealand? And 2, will your wife ever make a cameo?
She did make a cameo on the Crusader Kings stream the other day, but she probably will never make a voice cameo. And How to Invade New Zealand, we'll probably get really drunk one day, and I'll see if I can get like Laserpig and Thrasher and Anamaki together, and we'll rant about how to invade New Zealand, hopefully. But that's another thing. I'm gonna see if I can get the guys together, and we can make a bit of a fun stream on that. Maybe a Christmas thing.
That's fair enough. Stir Fry, as if you think the Russian military could have single-handedly handled Germany World War II, like the tankies always claim.
Fuck no. Fuck no. Because it's not just Germany. They're not fighting just Germany. They're fighting the whole Axis. Like, just as many Axis troops surrendered in Tunisia as did at Stalingrad. So, like, sure, they fought the most people. They lost the most. I'm sorry, newsflash, dying a lot doesn't mean you did more. Like, half the weapons and fuel and logistics they were using, a lot of it was American or British, because most people don't realise that over half of Britain's tank production during the key periods at Al Alamein, when they needed tanks, was going to the Soviet Union, because Churchill recognised the need to keep the Soviet Union in the fight, because it was important. That's why you see so many Soviet Matilda tanks, and they did very, very well. It's very, very much a case of they couldn't do it. They really couldn't. You can't just throw...
a lot of the field kitchens and stuff are also from America, and medical equipment.
Yeah,
like vaccines for children came from America. Vaccines for adults came from America. You know, penicillin, cough medicine. You know, everything.
I'm sorry, but a Mosin Nagant is not what you need to win a war. You need food, you need logistics, you need weapons. You need a lot more than just big gun go bang.
Ford trucks on the Eastern Front did more carrying than Ford trucks on the Western Front.
Exactly.
And they were. I'd argue that they probably had approximately the same amount of trucks on both fronts, because that's a hell of a lot of stuff to move.
Yeah.
The next question from Antline Worker Fan 2007: Who would win in a fist fight, Linda Beige, Drakini Fell, or Rexus Sanger?
It's Linda Beige. She'd do something really weird. Like you wouldn't see it coming.
He would do Crouching Tiger.
He just fly kick.
He'd do drunken fist. In a more serious question from him, who do you want to collab with the most, but haven't?
Oh, Tasting History. I would have so much fun collabing with Tasting History. I'd want to go there because I want to eat his food. Like, he's such a good cook. I want him to make me Roman food.
That's a good one.
Buy his cookbook. It's fantastic if you haven't, by the way, people.
His cookbook is genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
It is a great compilation of recipes that taste amazing. The next one's from Those Weird People. When is the next Space Race video coming out?
I'm writing it. I haven't gotten around to finishing writing it yet. I've got a lot of stuff on at the moment, so it will get written. It will take time. I won't make you wait as long as I've made the 1812 people wait.
And I've waited a long time for a continuation of that, mind you. Next question is from Young Tomo. What do you think about the FREMM frigates? And additionally, what are your thoughts on a unified European Union military?
I mean, it's not the worst idea, but can you imagine how insane it would be to deal with the unified EU military? Like,
it would essentially be the Austro-Hungarian military.
On
the
crack.
officers going to be French, trying to tell the Croatian, the Italian, the German, the Dutch, the Swedish, the Romanian, and the Greek guy what to do.
Can you imagine having a Greek and a Turk trying to get along with each other? Well, wait, no, Turkey's not in the EU.
No,
okay.
They're trying to join.
Yeah, they're trying to join. Okay.
But you need to be a functioning country to do so.
Yeah.
But I can actually answer the unified European Union military. They technically have the Euro battalion system in place, where countries from similar locations essentially send troops over. So you had like France and the Benelux together. You had, well, sorry, Belgium and like France together with like Italy or Spain, and then you had like the Germans with sometimes the Polish, but you had like you had a Dutch with them, and you had the Scandinavians together.
Blib,
So
blib, we're
they
only
kind of just rotate.
halfway.
We are.
We've only made it halfway.
Well, we've gone through the questions that we had on the original bit before we started posting the link. We can do this. We can do this.
I have chicken wrapped with prosciutto that I want to put in the oven.
Well, you have a wife.
She's working. I mean, technically I am too. We'll see. Okay, let's get this done.
Well, we'll try and speed it up.
Yeah.
JTSG asks, is there a particular mainstream documentary, film, TV show, or historical fiction piece which infuriates you with either misinformation or bad history above any other?
Yeah,
Napoleon.
Napoleon. I made a video on it.
Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Yep. Watch the video. It's a good one. Blue Den Nation asks, have you ever thought about doing videos on maritime history?
Yes. I actually have I have a book. I have a book on the development of merchant marine in the 1920s and 30s. And it's really fascinating because like they obviously don't know what's coming next, and the way that they write with their predictions of the future and stuff. It's really interesting. So yes.
Two quick fire questions from Nuclear. Why are you, a British citizen, being paid by the Polish government to spread Western propaganda?
It's interesting. Yes. I wonder.
I wonder where that paycheck is, though.
Yeah.
I'd like one. The next one from him is...
It's just kielbasa. You just get free sausages.
Yeah, true, fair. Yeah. Kolbasa. As a more serious question, though, have you ever considered looking at the Vicksburg campaign?
I'm sorry, Americans. I don't give a fuck about the US Civil War. I really don't care. Outside of the CSS Alabama being quite interesting and the development of ironclads, I don't give a shit. It's not something I care about. I respect
the development of the modern
such...
propeller.
Yeah,
like that's the most interesting part for me.
Yeah.
It's that it's literally a Swedish guy
like
who came up with a propeller. That's it. That's the most interesting point.
Like I respect those who are like really into it, like Kansas Man in the Discord's really into it, and like Atten Shay, but like. Into it from the senses they actually want to study it. They don't just want to LARP as a slave owner.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care. It's really not my topic at all. Like, I'll listen to it. I've read books about it. I got a book on Ulysses S. Grant here. It's interesting, but like, I don't care. I know about it, but it's like Julius Caesar. And how everyone talking about the Gallic Wars. I know about it. I just don't particularly care for it.
Yeah. No, 100%. The next question is: would you do a video on N3 battleships and G3 battlecruisers that the RN was planning post World War I, or Soviet project 1143.7 Ulyanovsk class?
The Soviets might go to talk in maybe because like I want to talk about they're trying to rebuild stuff, but. Just watch Drakenfell for the N3 and G3s. He covers them really in depth. There's nothing more I could add to that conversation.
Fair enough. Willie Panama asked if you have plans to make a video discussing the Storosevoy and the mutiny led by its Semple. Yeah?
Yes.
Fair enough. KW80YT asked, how did the actual process of dissolving the Soviet Union work? The privatization, the governing structure, rights to the oligarchs, what happened to the KGB, problems by a certain route? It is a very long question, and
that is actually a video topic I'm somewhat considering. That's a really big one. Long story short, a bunch of the industry went from state-owned to up for sale, and then all of a sudden the oligarchs started buying it up because they had connections, and then from there it just devolves and gets worse. That's really it.
Yep. The next question is from Seahawk to Drago 2. Have you ever considered covering the Regen Marina?
Italy. Yes, I want to talk about some of the shenanigans that Cunningham got up to in the Med.
That's fair. The next one is by Arctic Duce. Do you think you will ever make a video talking about differences with fascism and Nazism ideologically?
That's topical because I called someone silly for saying they were the same thing this morning in the Discord. They shit their pants and left. So That was that's topical. Eventually, probably. Yeah, it's fascism and Nazism are different. It's a whole thing.
That's fair enough. The best Soviet plane. Genuine answer, please. Not a whole. It killed the most Soviet kind of plane by
I
Link 8U.
I love the Su-27. I think it's hot. Like it's
The Su-27 is
it's
spicy.
such a good looking plane.
Yeah, it's spicy for sure. Uh, Luca, also called Interloper. What's your favorite sci-fi?
Uh, oh yeah, I did talk about the Italian Navy already. I did a video on Lissa. Um, sci-fi. Halo.
Battlestar
No,
Galactica.
Halo.
Halo. Okay.
Halo or no, Stargate. Stargate and Halo.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
SG-1.
That's too spicy though. That's some good stuff. Next question is from Inmate. What do you think of the Chernobyl series that was on HBO?
Two things. One, I think it does a phenomenal job storytelling. It's not very historically accurate, but it's rather historically authentic. So,
So it would be a dramatization
yeah,
of historical events, not a documentary.
yeah. I honestly, okay, so if you watch that series, it's phenomenal TV. It's one of the best made shows I've ever seen. Phenomenal TV. Watch it. It'll give you an appreciation of the events and the timelines, but I really recommend you read the book Chernobyl, or Chernobyl, which is how you say it properly in Ukrainian, by Serhiy Plokhy. He's a phenomenal historian. He's written three books that I recommend everyone reads. The Last Empire, about the fall of the Soviet Union, The Gates of Europe, which is a history of Ukraine, and Chernobyl, which is obviously Chernobyl. Read those three books. You'll get a massive appreciation on effectively this whole topic and what's going on. Yeah, read Plokhy, but watch Chernobyl, then read the Plokhy book. We're answering questions from a spreadsheet, which I'm going to post again to give Blib a bit of a moment.
There we go. Thank you. Uh, just take a breather. We've currently done 85 questions, and we have maybe 50 more.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep adding them for a while, we'll keep accepting new questions for a little while longer.
I've got 2 hours, then I have to pick my son up from school, so you know.
Yeah, that's fair, and it's actually 2:26 a.m. for me. As an Aussie, you and Perun should do collabs, says Ducci Arctic.
Wouldn't be able to. Perun's job dictates that he wouldn't be able to do something like that. Like his
That's fair
actual
enough.
day job. Yeah, no.
That's fair. Owen Farmer asked if he will do videos on Australian history because he's mentioning there he only knows vague stuff about Aboriginal migration, penal colony, or my favorite bit, white Australia
Fuck
policy,
off.
Gallipoli, and Chinese PRC influence.
Yeah, I want to. I want to do a video on Ned Kelly because I hate. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Ned Kelly is not a good person. He's not. He's
He's
just
not a good person
not
at
a
all.
good person. He's not. So I want to do a video on him, basically saying he's not a good person. So yeah. But neither are the cops at the time. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, eventually.
Yeah. Uh, Graham Raincock asks who would win a mildly ill duck or the Admiral Kuznetsov.
Probably the mildly ill duck.
The Kuznetsov has been defeated by a dry dock before, so.
Yeah.
John Cena as the opinion of Albanese.
Albanese, our Prime Minister. Anyone who's watched me for more than 5 minutes knows I hate politicians, particularly career politicians. There is nothing more in the world I despise than a career politician.
That's fair. Are you a fan of the L7 105 Royal Ordnance quick firing cannon? Asked Desert Foxo.
I honestly haven't given it much thought.
That's fair enough. The next question we've already answered. If you could see one battle or event. Well, actually, we've answered the battle one. It was Trafalgar. And the second bit then, what would be an event you would like to see?
I don't know, honestly.
It's true.
I really-
Personally, I would love to see the detonation of the first atomic bomb.
that would be awesome, yeah. Seeing the detonate. D-Day.
D-Day, yes.
Yeah,
That
from the air.
Like it's-
D-Day from the air.
seeing all the like it's. I don't think people don't really see it when they because you watch the war movies. You know you see your tiny sliver of a beach,
Yeah.
but people forget that the entirety of Normandy and the majority of like all the ships you could muster on the western coast of France that weren't already engaging in the Mediterranean were there.
See,
All of
I'd
them.
like to see it in Britain as well, like the events surrounding it
The
in
build up.
Britain. Yeah, the build-up would be
Yeah.
phenomenal.
One really fantastic thing that I really because people who know me from the server know that I live in Northern Ireland, and people forget how much of a big part Northern Ireland has played in World War II, because it's the first point of Britain you reach when you fly from America. It's the first bit of back in those days. Same with the boats.
Yeah,
It's the first point.
Yeah, Londonderry is where the ships would put in with the convoys.
Yes, and people also don't realize that, for example, the U.S. Rangers were formed in Northern Ireland. There's a Rangers Museum, paid for by the U.S. Army and the local government, that every year has veterans visiting and representatives from the U.S. Army. It's a very very nice and classy museum. It's near the location of where they were formed and where they were housed before. Um, but same thing. The airborne divisions, they were based in Northern Ireland as well. I've been at one of the estates where they were actually housed and trained for
Oh.
D-Day, and it's very pretty. They still have parts, and you can meet some. They're very few now, but sometimes, especially before D-Day anniversaries, you'd have American veterans coming and visiting.
See, that's cool.
So it's a very forgotten bit of, I'd say, World War II history. The next question, it's what's your opinion on the Slava and Kirov class as designed rather than as built by Pogwalk?
Uh, they're stupid. And they're stupid for the reason that they go, oh, we'll overwhelm a US carrier's defenses. Okay, but what about its battle group?
That's fair enough.
No,
Yeah.
no one's going to bring up the fact there's a battle group, and you have to get into range to fire. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to. Yeah, it's. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not good.
Also, the Kirovs are stupid because they actually have to pass. Okay, so the Kirovs' main weapons, those big missiles, they're actually submarine launched missiles, and the Kirovs have to partially sink themselves to make the submarine's missiles, which are on them, think that they're still in a submarine so they can actually launch. I'm not
Superior Russian engineering.
It's so dumb.
Flexing on the homies by sinking yourself slightly.
Exactly.
So the next question is: can you use your Scree of Rage on YouTube for university credits? Asks Bruce.
No, no, I cannot use it for university credit. If I could, then, I would have written enough at this point to get myself a PhD.
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd be a doctor times two. Alspath666 asks, would you ever do a collab with History of Everything podcast? I think it would be quite funny and confusing.
Probably not. His content's gone a completely different way to what mine does.
That's fair. Mitch Connor asks, what time period in history do you have the most expertise in, and what time period do you have the least experience in but want to know more about?
Most 1500 to 1700, early modern. Least, probably the periods. Huh. Probably least in terms of that I really want to would be ancient Egypt. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough. Um, what would Admiral Mad Dog have done if he, upon his death, was blasted back to 1904? Also, what is the potential replacement for poor Kuznetsov? Asked Simon Bengtson.
The potential replacement for Kuznetsov was the Storm supercarrier that's never getting built because they have nowhere to build it. There will be no replacement for Kuznetsov. They can't afford it. Admiral Rosenzwensky, if he had to get blasted back to 1904 and he had to relive it again, probably would have just shot himself and no one would have blamed him.
Fair enough. Yes. Strider 3 Jaeger asks, are you going to do a video about Russian civilian aviation as a follow-up to your Aeroflot video? They'd kind of be the one and the same.
Yeah, they'd kind of be one and the same because Aeroflot's really the only one. Eben Isker in the Discord has been working on like a Know Your Meme Cards Against Humanity version of, but it's just Aeroflot fuck ups. So we might play that one day on stream.
That'd be nice. Necron is back at it again with another question. Fab Shogun character.
I like the one from the Japans. He does Japan things. Yeah.
But does the Japan man have a Japanese girlfriend?
No, actually, probably my favorite character, just because she's more complex, would probably be Mariko. She's just very, very interesting. Although, I mean, Blackthorn is just fantastically hilarious to watch.
That's fair. Desert Foxo asked opinion on all the most fetishized views of Rome and the Roman Empire that is common in history circles.
Oh, I want to smack people when people like. Okay, if it is not uncommon to be at a party, and someone brings up something about Rome, you're just like, shut up, stop talking, shut up.
Fair enough. If you had infinite time, how many of the Russian Navy stocks videos do you think you could make by Alsmas666?
If I wanted to milk that shit non-stop, I could make 32. Like, I joked to myself one day and I wanted to see how many I could theoretically make if I really wanted to. The answer is 32.
That's fair enough. Uh, have you seen the Soviet Union flags that Russian troops have been flying? Thoughts? Alsmas666.
Yeah, I have. The Soviet Union was an empire. They want the empire back. That's really it. There's not much to it.
John Cena asks opinion on AUKUS.
Oh, AUKUS.
AU, yeah.
We should just be part of NATO at this point. I don't see the point of having all these extra things. Just make NATO a bit more inclusive and let us join NATO. We're basically Europe and Asia, so why not?
So we should make a Eurasian alliance.
Bring back Ceto.
That'd be cool.
Let's go dragon hunting. Let's bring back Ceto.
RVN asks, would you be open for a video on the Second Sino-Japanese War? I feel like when talking about the Second World War in the East Asian Pacific, it's often reduced to Imperial Japan versus the US.
Due to Necron, you're never getting videos on East Asia.
Yeah, if you're ever in the Discord and you wonder why you get timed out for saying anything Eastern Korea, related, blame Necron.
It's all Necron's fault.
And blame him. Yeah.
Everyone in the Discord right now go at Necron and just go, why did you have to get Japan banned? They're gonna do that, aren't they? They're gonna do that.
Gonna do that. He's gonna hate us. He's gonna hate us so much. Jesus Christ. Ace Mr. Freeze asks, how do you rate General Grant? What about Admiral Porter in the U.S. Civil War? You don't care about it.
I mean, no, I don't. Okay, I say I don't care about it, but like, it doesn't interest me that much. But Grant is very interesting. Grant is one of the few people who knew what he needed to do to actually win the war and just did it. And you can say a lot of good and bad about him for what he did and how he did it, but he still knew what he had to do to win, and he did. He was also a better general than Lee because he actually beat Lee. Suck on that, Confederate chuds. It's like Wellington. It's like Wellington and Napoleon. Wellington was better. He won. In the end, he won.
Yeah, no, it should be quite cut and dry that the person who loses is obviously the worst.
Yeah.
The worst general, because if you lose,
exactly.
Yeah. No, it's. I wish certain people would remember that.
Yeah.
That losers aren't good. A-dubs asks, will you ever look into the top snipers of history? I found a lot of misinformation around the best snipers, mainly Russian, and would find it very interesting to see someone with greater resources than I look into it.
Yes, I have considered it, because I have considered doing something on Billy Singh, who's an Australian sharpshooter from Gallipoli.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Canada? Asks Interloper.
I want to go and see Ice Australia sometime.
That's fair. What, in your opinion, is the dumbest event in history that had a massive impact? Asks Harry.
Oh, that's hard. Dumbest. I really don't know. There's a lot. There's some really dumb shit that's happened in history.
Some prince got shot in Serbia.
Yeah, there's that. But that started.
Poland existed more than once.
No, the dumbest things is the fact that like everyone collectively hated the absolute nutcases that went full schizo Protestant during the 30 Years' War, but France kept the war going just to keep Germany weak.
Yeah.
Well, you want the dumbest series of events in history ever? The entire French War of Religion.
Yeah. No, that's
It's so stupid. Oh yeah, the Albanian jar thing. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. That's a dumb moment in history.
still that sounds so hilarious. That's just wild. Next question. Do you think China has Russia's military maintenance issues? If so, do you think an invasion of Taiwan is likely? That's your 98.
I don't think it's going to happen, personally. I think they can try. I mean, can you imagine anything worse than attacking the most urban areas in the world against people who hate you, and then if you get the city, you have to go into the mountains.
And it's all covered in jungle as well.
Yeah.
And that's even if you get past, the mined sea lanes that you know.
Yeah.
There's only there's a reason why there's like 2 big ports.
Also,
those ports are protected.
Yeah. What Three Gorges Dam doing?
It's gonna spill.
It's gonna spill.
It's gonna do a little bit of a leak.
It's gonna do a funny.
Is that when you drop a few Moabs in the Yangtze River and it shifts again and kills a few 100 million?
See, the thing is, like, if Taiwan's about to go down, they got nothing to lose. They got nothing to lose, and China will never, ever recover from that.
Yep. No, it would just be an ultimate shit show, I'd say. Next question is from Joko Raptor. Would you make a video on the history of Swedish military between 1608 to 1718?
Is this just your alt account?
No, I wish it was, because that's a good question.
Yeah, maybe, probably, I guess.
Because then you can read about how we went from hiring Germans to kill Danish people to hiring Polish to kill German people, and then somewhere in the middle we went to having like the first proper standardized army in Europe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then how we lost all of it,
You might get something on the lifeguards because they have a pretty cool history.
They're pretty cool, yeah. They had their 500 years celebration a 2 years back or something like that. Next question by Digital Demon. What's the most challenging aspect of researching a topic for a video?
I mean, the hardest part with all of research is just making sure you can correlate it, so it's finding stuff to correlate. That's really just it.
Yeah. That's fair. Favorite battle was Trafalgar. There's another question about that from Joker Raptor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Next one after that, would you make a video about the Pepsi Navy?
Yes and no, because it's technically a thing, but it's not a thing at the same time, so maybe.
Okay. Joker Raptor also asked, I think a video regarding how unlucky the Kriegsmarine was during World War I and World War II would be hilarious.
Watch this space. I'm collaborating with another YouTuber in the extended Laserpig cinematic universe on the Operation Viking, coming up very soon.
That's very nice. JTillen23 asked if Lenin would have handled World War II more or less competently than Stalin.
Fuck yes, he would. He absolutely would have.
He wouldn't have killed or imprisoned the majority of people who knew shit.
You would have had Tukhachevsky facing Barbarossa.
Yep.
Barbarossa would not have gone well.
It would have been also would not have had a military in absolute disarray.
Yeah.
And a political oversight over military orders, which was insane to begin with. Next one is favorite USA ship by Urumu.
As I mentioned, I am a slut for frigates, so it's the USS Constitution.
Yeah, that's fair. Inmate asked, do you think Belarus could have their own Maidan and democratize themselves like Ukraine did?
No, it's too far gone. At this point, I don't see a way that they could do it without just getting massacred. I really don't.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. RVN asks, would you do a video on minor NATO powers submarines trolling US fleets during wargaming exercises? I'd say like this could also be an alt account of mine because I assume they're referring to the mini sub we rented with crew to the U.S. Navy where they sank the Navy in port and took pictures up close to the hull of a carrier.
The problem is this is just more into like military tech and stuff. I like history and the why and the what and the how more
Yeah.
so than this kind of stuff. So maybe I won't roll it out, but maybe.
SP Gaming in caps asks what your thoughts are of the sinking of HMAS Sydney.
The second one. It's quite sad actually. It's definitely an oopsie done by the captain. But the sad bit is when you look into the historical records and the German records at the time, it's very clear that the ship's crew does not expect it to sink. They really think they are genuinely going to get it back to port, and then it appears that some kind of large wave or something very hard hit it, which caused the bow to snap off and it just killed everyone on board. It's very, very, very sad, but um, she went down swinging. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's fair. Next question is by Thunderfox. Favorite fleet versus Fleet Battle. Trafalgar again, I'd assume.
That or the Glorious First of June, because it's pretty wild. The Glorious First of
Yeah,
June is pretty wild.
that's fair. Kaiserliche Autorität in Polen asks, instead of beating the Russian Navy to the ground, would you consider to make a video about Chinese or American naval fuck ups for a change?
I am working on something about the Beiyang fleet.
Nice. Jesus Christ Home Slice says, if you really want to piss off the Vatniks, talk about how the Western Allies would have won a war against the USSR just after World War II.
They would have, but that really goes into counterfactual history, not really my thing. Um, so probably not.
John Cabot asked if you know anything about the Dominion of Newfoundland and its contentious confederation with Canada.
Oh yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I need to make a video on that eventually.
John Cabot is probably a newfie
He is
himself.
probably a newfie. I actually, it's really funny because every time I say Newfoundland, I get a bunch of them in my comments going, Newfoundland mentioned!
They're just very proud of themselves.
They are,
You
it's
know?
really funny. It's like Swedes.
I can appreciate it. Yeah.
It's like Swedes and Dutchmen. There's a lot of you here for some reason, and I like
Hey,
it's
just
an
hanging out.
ungodly amount considering the size of your respective places.
So, not inmate asks, at what price would you need to be paid for to
No,
drop?
I don't. Okay, I don't draw. All the art done for this channel is done by my wife, or I make it in Canva.
Fucking cheap ass bastard.
Yeah, I know.
Slave labor through marriage or AI art. Is
I
that it?
make her steak. It's all right.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's good. SP
Uh,
Gaming asks
Same question,
again.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on the same thing, Sydney? Thunderfox asks, sorry for the three questions, but what is your opinion on the weird battleship slash carrier hybrids and design proposals?
They don't
Would be
work.
the
The wind screws it up. Like the wind coming back and forth
yeah.
over the ships. They don't work.
In the way it would work would be kind of like how because there were some of them, and the one that only comes to mind in my head now is the Swedish one, which was a coastal anti-submarine ship.
Mm.
And it worked because the entire rear section of the of the ship was essentially, recovery and shooting off of, anti-submarine aircraft, and that was it. That's the only way it would work because it would be seaplanes.
Mm.
But you wouldn't be able, I don't think you would be able to do like an actual like carrier. It would need to be way bigger.
Yeah.
Like
It honestly would not work.
you'd end up with too large of a ship.
Yeah.
Corporal Tommy asked if you would do a collaboration with Drakenifel.
Well, considering half of the comments from all the people who get mad at me say I'm plagiarizing him all the time, why not? I'm not plagiarizing him for the record. We both just have an Anglo sense of humor. It's not that deep.
Yeah, you can't really plagiarize, a cultural trait.
Yeah. It's like you guys have
Uh,
similar jokes. Yes. Because of where
It's-
we're
it
from.
It happens when you're kind of from the same. Like, I wonder why.
Yeah.
So the next question is: would you ever consider covering the Regia Marina? We've had that. It's
Yeah.
answered. Yes. It's already been covered once. It's already been covered once, remember?
Yes.
Um, what's your favorite and least favorite video game? Asked the G-Man.
Right now I'm a big Helldivers fan. For Super Earth. Um, Least favorite? Um,
Whatever anime game Necron is currently playing.
yeah, probably. Is everyone still picking Necron? Should do that again. Um,
No, I don't think anyone did.
oh. Um,
Yeah.
I don't really know on a least favorite,
No,
to be
no, no.
honest.
There were three of them. Four. Yeah, there were four.
Yeah, no, I don't really have a least favorite, to be honest. Not that I can think
That's
of,
fair. Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Will you do a video on Indonesia's struggle for independence after World War II? I don't see about it talked about much. Same for the Malay emergency by Ryoko T-72.
My great grandfather was actually involved in the Malay emergency as part of the Royal Australian Air Force. So was my grandfather, and my stepmom was born in the British military hospital in Malaysia due to the basing that we have there. So I actually have quite a few connections to Malaysia, familial wise. So eventually, yeah, I will.
Do you know any Sri Lankans SP Gaming as? Yes, we do. It's you.
Yeah, you. Um,
You're the Sri Lankan SP Gaming. You're the Sri
you are
Lankan.
now the dedicated channel Sri Lankan.
You've been designated as the Sri Lankan of this channel.
Yes.
Uh, R asks, what would be the ideal 1980s carrier design for the Royal Navy in your opinion?
What they went with, the Invincibles.
Just more of them.
Yeah,
Just keep them.
like one more.
Make more. Yeah, maybe four. Like
Yeah.
just
Make five so Australia can actually get the one we were going to buy originally.
yes, yes, and also give one to New Zealand because then they might be able to have an air
No,
force.
they just sell it. Come on.
True, true. They probably sell it to China as well, the bastards.
Probably.
Yes. So Runners 2 asked, would you ever make a video about the Spanish Civil War and its consequences on World War II?
Wait, where's this question? So I can read it again? Yes,
Would you ever make a
yes.
video about the Spanish Civil War?
Absolutely, I will. I want to do stuff about it because it's hilarious. Because there are cases in the Spanish Civil War in the CNTFIA where you have all these people just vibing in cafes who have come from overseas because they like the aesthetic of anarchism and stuff, and they sit in cafes and they try and lecture other people just on the street about theory, and they're like, "Please leave me alone. We're at war and I'm losing my children. I just want to be left alone." But you'll get
It,
stopped
it,
in the street and just lectured about, do you know theory? Do you know theory? And people just kept saying it was really annoying. So
it's like that meme where it's like I was supposed to be a psychologist. Dig the trench.
yes, it's literally that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
it's
do wanna.
it's just
It's also
wild.
like
Yeah,
Spanish Civil War is like mini World War Two. Like so, yes, I do want to do it eventually.
it's a wild one. Robgino asks, what war or battle do you think deserves more recognition and why?
Um, Korean War, just Battle of Kapyong.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty cool one. Buddy Holly asked, "What is the best? What do you think is the best Soviet vehicle in terms of crew comfort?" They've been in an IS-2, and it's the only reasonably comfortable Soviet vehicle I've seen.
Yeah, I'd say IS-2. It's pretty low bar.
I'd say, for personal experience, I'd say a BTR-80 if you're short.
Yeah, if you're short, BTR 80's not too bad.
I
T
like I can't fit. Like I'm too tall.
I've been in a
I'm
T-34
up.
before. That's not fun.
Then no, that's cramped as well. Yeah, no, I've gone in one as well. I've been in a KV tank as well. KV tank turret is quite nice.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
KV tank anything but turret, no. Um, Next question. Antline worker fan 2007 says, "Hello there again, Mr. History. I have an incredibly important question. How many T Rexes to take out one T90M?"
I've got at least two.
Yeah, because they all because they'll shoot one of them, but then the autoloader will jam.
Exactly.
So the other
That's my
T
thought.
Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The next one is by Runners 2. What military vehicle manufacturer from the Soviet Union do you think actually made decent competitive designs?
Mm,
PTRs,
Yeah,
I'd say.
BTR is quite competitive. Yeah.
Because it's literally what, like, if you look at Western APCs, like real APCs, like Patria is making something that looks like a BTR. Poland, the Czechs and Poles had their own OT-64 or whatever it's called. It was essentially just a better one, and they all beat the BTRs.
Soviet era MiG and Sukhoi as well, not modern MiG and
Oh
Sukhoi. So
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's true. Okay, so the next one is from Alfmas666. I had to go to bed. Just want to say I love your content and wish you the best luck in your
Thank
studies.
you.
That's very wholesome. Tori Chroma asks, the worst and funniest form of propaganda you've seen.
Uh, Russia trying to blame this terrorist attack on Ukraine. It's so hilariously stupid.
I'd say that's the worst one. The funniest one, I think, would be the big propaganda run they did about wanting to invade Alaska.
Oh, that was funny. Oh no, when they blame Britain for everything, every time they blame Britain for everything,
Yes,
it's
that too.
so
The eternal
funny.
Anglo.
The eternal Anglo shenanigans.
Like, and if you actually know like what's happening in the UK, it's like the country's on its knees.
Everyone's just like, we're not
It's just
happy right
collapsing.
now.
It's a shithole, and the Russians like they're doing stuff.
The
The UK's,
Anglos are coming.
yeah, and the UK's like we can't figure out how the NHS is costing so much. You know, it's just crying in a corner.
They're all crying
And
because they can't get Greg's merch from Primark, and Russia's just like, the Anglos are
exactly.
coming. The Anglos are coming.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Birmingham's on fire. Tora Chroma asks again, what are your top five military powers?
Like ever or like now?
Just in general, I guess.
Um, fuck, I've got a cramp in my hand. I've only actually done half of the portholes on this model ship. Um,
Are
but
you sniffing the glue?
oh, I'm sniffing a lot of glue right now. It's great.
Can't wait till you start drinking the paint.
Here we go. Um, uh, well, the US is number one. I don't really want to say number two is China because I don't. Well, technically by itself, China, yeah. Um, was this top five? Yeah, China.
Yeah, top five.
Number three, four, and five. Number three and four just like intermix Britain and France at different
Yeah,
points, depending on whatever the fuck they're doing at the time. Honestly, just
that's
intermix
fair.
them.
Yeah,
Uh, Number five, I'm not even putting Russia in number five at this point. Russia's not even the best army in Ukraine. Um, Actually, technically speaking, Russia's not the best army in Russia at this point because Ukraine has crossed the border. Um, so
that's fair.
I don't really know for number five, honestly. Or maybe India. Let's give it to India. Let's give the Indians something. You know what? We'll give it to the Indians because we'll get the Chinese to insult cricket, then declare the war.
That's when you see the nuke flinging begin.
Shiva's revenge
Uh,
starts.
yeah. Antline Worker Fan 2007 asked, how long would the Kuznetsov actually last if it were put into a full-scale NATO war? I'd assume it means that it's fully retrofitted and, functioning.
How long does it take a mouse to fart?
I don't know. Just the machine spirits in that craft was not made for warfare.
Yeah, pretty much.
It will, yeah. No, I don't think it would do quite well. And also, it's not like Russia has many ships that can actually make an escort group with.
No, they
So,
don't. They really don't. It's not going to go well. It's going to fall apart.
yeah, you're gonna need the tugs to accompany it. It's gonna be a floating airfield
Yeah.
at most. Uh, Rob Gino asks, which major first or second world country will have a civil war?
Uh, I,
Russia.
no, I don't think it'll have a civil war. See, I don't. I don't think it'll be a civil war. Honestly, I don't think we'll see major civil wars. Like everyone goes on about the Second American Civil War. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's really not. Like we're all hyper politicized, but we're not all going to start shooting each other over it. And also, like the thing is, like everyone goes on about Trump starting a civil war. If Trump tries to start a civil war, the U.S. Army is going to smack him upside the head and go, "Fuck you, go to prison." It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, Biden's not going to try and seize power. There's not some deep state out there to get you. It's not. It's
You
fucking
don't
dumb.
understand history. It's the Jewish cabal
I mean,
of people that they just
like
take over, man.
there are civil wars in the world right now. Like Burma's having a horrific one.
Yeah,
Um, you know what? One that might actually happen is Pakistan. That country is on its knees.
yeah, and it's bound to happen sooner or later. They aren't doing too well.
And good luck to India once they figure out there's an act. You have to make a cultural identity that isn't hating Pakistan.
Well, it's gonna shift over to China soon, so
Yeah.
full time China. Turk Roma asks, what are the odds that NATO or NATO affiliated nations go into Ukraine with combat troops? Well, if you
Um,
ask France,
I don't really want to answer that because if it happens, then I just yeah I don't really want to go into the what ifs in Ukraine because at the end of the day I don't want to inadvertently cause issues. That's all.
that's fair. Can we have an hour long video from you? Any topic as Turk Roma as well.
There's a 40-minute video on the East India Company you can watch at any point, and this will be a 2 hour VOD that you could rewatch 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. Pogog asks, hey, it's me again. How do you feel about the new American frigates, the Constellation class?
Uh, I think they look cool. I love the names. The names go hard.
I think they're getting closer and closer to like they're just going off the Star Trek list,
Yeah.
and I'm here for it. You know?
All right, that's 150 questions. Can we do a quick fire of the next 20?
Yeah. Uh, I'm just gonna apologize in advance to Tari Chroma. I'm not gonna include all your questions.
There's
Yeah,
like
like 15
20,
of
yeah,
them
there's like
after this.
15.
Yeah. So I'm gonna butcher, and you just made a new one as well. I'm gonna butcher your name again. Linky ate you because it's funny. One last question for you: while you keep this as will you keep this as a VOD or will it be a
Yes.
21st stream?
It'll be a VOD. It'll be a VOD.
Be a VOD. Yeah. If so, Tori Chroma asked, you unfortunately disappeared from YouTube tomorrow for whatever reason. Who would you say would the most like you for us to watch?
Watch Hard Thrasher. He's fucking brilliant. Hard Thrasher
Thrasher makes some good shit.
Hard Thrasher makes me laugh a lot. And he's the funny thing is like a lot of people go like, "Oh, is that person really like that in person?" Yes, he is. He genuinely is. He's fucking
He's a
funny.
really chill guy.
He's genuinely
Honestly.
he's quite funny and he's good to bully about with cricket too. You're not winning the Ashes next time, you bastard.
Yeah. Give a minute explanation why Germany lost the Battle of Britain. Do you want me to do that one?
Yeah, you can do that one.
Yeah, not enough planes, not enough bombing of military infrastructure.
Pretty much.
Like they like I'm just saying like Goering could have bombed all the airfields that were on the eastern coast, but didn't, and instead flew past them, and they got shot down.
Pretty much.
Like it's yeah, that's it. Didn't even need a minute. SP Gaming asks, do you think if Korolev lived after the operation for all mankind would have happened, also Fudge Necro?
Fudged. Because he fuck Necro because he banned Japan. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I reckon the Soviets would have gone to the moon. They wouldn't have got there first, but they would have gone to the moon.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Turkram asked, minus Russia, which military fuck up fascinates you?
Which one? Uh,
154.
which one?
Which military fuck up fascinates you, bar Russia?
Probably the Beiyang fleet. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll just skip down to another Necron question. Are you planning on taking some opium when you're doing the Beiyang fleet to make sure you do it right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna like huff an entire poppy up my nose. It'll be great.
Just stored it all up. Turtle Man asks, what nationalistic song in the world do you like the most?
That's tough. Okay, I have 3 playlists on my phone. One is classical music. One is rock music from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and a bit of modern stuff. And the other is just like national anthems and national songs because I love the study of that kind of stuff and I find them interesting. Rule Britannia is an absolute banger. It's not really a nationalist song, but Freie Deutschen Jungen makes me laugh and it makes me happy. Um,
It's an amazing song. It's my favorite
it's so
piece
good.
of musical history, and it's the best
Wait,
part about it is that
we
yeah.
have we have. Oh wait, no, we're not. I was gonna say, do we have the.
Well, I have the soundboard.
Yeah, let's go. It starts like that. How could you not love it?
It's so good. The best fact about that song is that it was a bunch of Swedish students that
Yeah.
made the song in like '98 or like '97.
Yep.
Like after the Berlin Wall fell and Germany reunited, they made a song about Eastern Germany.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's so good, and it was just forgotten about, and people were like, "Oh yeah, this is an East German song," but no, it's a Swedish
The
song in German
yeah,
about Germany.
the Heimliche Aufmarsch is brilliant in terms of music. Um, Die Wacht am Rhein is pretty good. Deutschland Lied is also pretty good. Oh, hey, Moth.
Yeah,
Um, it's not a nationalistic song. It's a hymn, but the Gloria is fantastic. It's a Catholic
it's
hymn.
a really good
It
one.
goes really hard. The Gloria
Yeah,
is very, very good, especially when it's like an Easter Vigil recording and you have church bells in the background too, with the chorus.
it's
It's
magical.
really magical and
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Next question is from R. What would be an optimal fleet composition for the Royal Australian Navy in 2024?
I want 25 super carriers that shoot boomerang aircraft. No, I don't. I honestly like. I just want it to be bigger. Just make it bigger. And
Make it Lord.
yeah.
Another question by Torchroma. Which glue is the best to sniff?
What am I sniffing right now? Mr. Cement SP Black. I use a black glue on my plastic models so I can see where it runs.
That's fair enough.
Fun fact, when you're making a model ship, if you go through, I really recommend you get a small hand drill and you do drill out the portholes. It takes hours to do, but you know you can just do a Q&A while you're doing it apparently. And
Yeah,
if you do that and you drill out the portholes, use a bit of glue, a bit of black glue, to go over it, and you'll clear up any of the frayed edges, but you'll also give it a nice different alternated shading. So when you go over and if you spray paint it, you'll actually give yourself broken up patterns due to the glue, so the grey won't be all be one color. It's really good.
it's a neat painting trick.
I'm a plastic
And
crack addict. Yes.
Plastic Cracker. Yeah, hence the name of the channel in
Yeah.
in the Discord. Yeah. Um. So Buddy Holly asked, sorry for the second question, but as a proud Australian, why did the F1 not live up to the Owens legacy as a machine gun?
That's an excellent question. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know.
It's just did.
I'm just gonna have to scream at Matilda for a bit and go, "Hey, Matilda, why gun not good? You're a dig. Help."
Please help. Please solve.
Hmm.
Inmate asks, if the first Russian Navy sucks video didn't take off, would you continue video making?
Maybe as a hobby. I don't know. Probably not, to be honest. Like I did it because I was bored. Um, I,
We would have bullied you into more.
yeah, like I really did it because I was bored. But yeah, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's fair.
I
Yeah.
always thought
Game
I
of
had.
Thrones.
I was just on that. I always thought I had a nasally and stupid voice, and no one wanted to hear it. So I just
Nah,
that's yeah.
that's fair.
I got that
But
antibody charm.
yeah. GamerFan844 said, have you ever heard of the Soviet Union AA-20 steam locomotives? It is interesting. Also, you amazing.
Thank you. And I have heard of them. They are very interesting, and I'll talk about trains eventually. I want to talk about the Czechoslovak Legion and trains eventually, so you know.
That's a really good one. It's a very interesting story. The last question, I'll take a Tori Chroma question. Do you think the term Dark Ages should just refer to people not knowing how to read and write Latin and nothing else?
Absolutely not. Um, it wasn't all in Latin. You have stuff in German, you have stuff in other languages too. The Dark Ages is just stupid shit that's come from the area known as Reformation and dumbasses like frickin' Voltaire saying the Holy Roman Empire is not holy or Roman, you're an empire. All it is, okay, the Dark Ages, and I'm going to flat out say it, is Protestant propaganda to make Catholics look bad. That is genuinely what it is. It's nothing more than Protestant propaganda. It's why people say the Spanish Empire was particularly evil when you compare it to, say, the British Empire or you compare it to the German Empire. It's Protestant propaganda. It 100% is. And if you believe it, you're falling for propaganda that is made by Protestants 500 years ago. So, is what it is.
Remember, kids. Protestant propaganda made 500 years ago is still correct.
No, it's not.
Keep up the good work.
No, it's not. Fuck off. You're so Swedish.
Remember, kids. Throw off the yoke of Rome.
Fuck's sake. But
that's most, if not all, our questions.
Should we give them 5 minutes to put some more in?
Okay, yeah, sure, we can do that.
All right. Do you want
to post the link again?
Yeah, I'll post the link one more time. Yeah. You got 5 minutes, and then we're done, and I'm going to make food. 2 hours and 13 minutes, by the way.
I would just like to add. I would just like to add that I've had a deficit of 35 pounds in Congo for the past hour.
Are you still playing?
I'm still playing Congo in Vicky 3. It's 1858, and I'm just vibing. I've traded some sugar to Britain. France bankrolled me for a few moments there. It's pretty good. China does not like me because I'm exporting opium, dude.
See, you're playing a game. I'm just here drilling holes in a boat.
Yeah, no, we're both kind of just doing shit.
It's a thing. Where did Fano put the link to the Discord to join it?
It was somewhere. You can just grab it from the pinned message.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing it from our pinned message, to be honest. That way people can join the Discord if they're here.
I think one thing that people I don't think realize is how technologically inept you actually are.
I'm not that technologically inept.
Also, yes, please come and panic yell. Please do come in and panic yell. Just shake him up. Just shake him out.
Wife, please, no.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Come on, just please.
You wanted your Mrs. History of Everything cameo. She's in the chat right now. Yell at her.
They're all just gonna say do it, though. They're gonna be like, yeah. I would also like to inform chat that in the meantime, we've been doing this Q&A. My kitten has been sleeping behind my monitor, and unbeknownst to me, she's been eating my HDMI cable while sleeping. And there's just a pool of slobber all over the cable, and it's disgusting. She just looked at me like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Alright, so
are you talking about me?" That's a bunch of questions.
Yeah, that's enough questions. We'll just go with what comes through, and we'll end it with the last one that's here. All right, let's go.
No worries. The next one. Who's your favorite Beatle? By the Stone Abbott.
I don't like the Beatles. I genuinely don't.
My favorite is John Lennon.
Don't.
How Are Babies Made? By Skibidi Rizzler.
His name is Skibidi Rizzler, really?
Yeah. How is Babby formed, Mr. History? How is Babby
How
formed?
is a baby made? Well, you see a stork, right? They bring them to you after you make a sacrificial offering of 5 goats and 7 sheep and an eye of newt. You put them in a pot, you melt them down into a paste, then you make a garum-style oil out of them, and then you sacrifice it to the great Wahewa in the sky, and then a stork brings it to you, and they also, beat you up and take your wallet at the same time.
Wait, did you just kill a stork?
And if your stork is drunk while doing the delivery, you might get the Grinch, because that's what happens in the Grinch. That they're kind of just vibing, and apparently they just drop the
Yes.
children with like an umbrella instead.
Yes, I
So
killed the stork.
it might be a mix up. Necron says thank you for the anime channel.
If I see hentai in there at any point, I'm gonna come to where you live. I know where you live, Necron, and I'm gonna smack you.
I'll come to your house.
I do know where his house is.
That's good. I have beef with him as well. Don't
Hey,
you worry.
Dal, can you preheat the oven, please, to 180 for our lunch? No. Okay, fine. I won't cook your lunch. Oh, okay,
Terrible-
wow.
ter- Terrible
Forgot?
husband.
Okay, wow, okay. Don't worry about it then. I'll just
Pogwog
accept it.
asks, "Hey man, did you know it says gullible on the ceiling?"
Wait 1 second. What? Okay, thank you. What was his question?
He's currently. Did you know it says gullible on the ceiling?
It doesn't actually, but it says you should like, comment, and subscribe to my channel on your ceiling.
Canon God be here as, do you like the York or County class cruisers?
I do. I love the Yorks in the counties. I actually want to build a model of the Exeter when I get a chance.
The Exeter is nice.
It is nice.
It's a capital nice. Inmate asks, what is this Chinese fleet you keep talking about?
The Chinese Imperial Fleet that fought the Japanese Imperial Fleet in the late 1800s. It's fucking hilarious. And Alexander, my favorite type of dog is the Dachshund.
Yeah. So Strata Jaeger asks, are you going to do a video about Russian civilian airliners like the Tu-144?
I kind of did that already with the Aeroflot video.
Yeah. But like you said earlier as well, it's a bit more technical than history.
Yeah.
So and
It's less narrative, more other thing.
So Rob Gino did the opposite of what the instructions were. So favorite African and South American war in history.
Zulu. And
Zulu for Africa.
all the Argentinian Chilean shit. That's funny.
That's fair, yeah. Turchrome asks, we can only learn history through video games. What video games do you want to use to teach history? If you could only teach it through it. Minecraft.
I'd say Assassin's Creed because you can just read the actual historical blurbs. They're pretty accurate, but not modern Assassin's Creed. That's dog shit.
Yeah. No, 100%. Runners 2 asks, what German World War II wonder weapon you think it would have actually made a difference instead of being, well, a wonder weapon?
None. They're called wonder weapons for a reason.
That's fair. Linky8U asks, you fool, you've unleashed a horde, but on to the genuine question, what would you say is the second best Soviet plane?
MiG-29.
Fair enough. SP Gaming asks, when face reveal, do you like country balls? Thoughts on Western Australian succusection? I'm assuming it means cessation. Also, what did Nectron do to get the videos from an entire continent banned?
Okay, Necron got
Ask
the
him.
entire continent banned because he's the biggest weeb I've ever fucking met, and he somehow makes every conversation about Japan. So I decided to give him electroshock therapy and get rid of Japan so he can't talk about Japan anymore. And it seems to be somewhat working. Thoughts on Western Australian secessionism? Sure, go secessionist. You think you're going to be rich because you have all this mining equipment and stuff. Who are you going to sell it to for an actual profit when we can undercut you very, very easily from the mines in Queensland? Oh, and guess what? You've got a population that lives in a dick's corner of your country. Learn to pay for everything. Western Australians can either be some of the nicest people, or the secessionists, the supremacists, are some of the biggest dickheads in the planet. They're like Texans on crack. It's really annoying.
You mean Texans on meth? Because I don't think they can afford crack.
No, it's like Texan secessionists who think they're going to be the best things in the world if they're independent. It's like, you're not. You're just going to be a B-tier country that can't afford things anymore. It's like Scotland if it gets independent. It's not going to go well. Like,
fair, yeah.
It's not going to go well.
It's like if Wales would secede from the UK.
Yeah, it won't go well. It just won't.
Like, it's not going anywhere, yeah.
It's so dumb. It's like, you have your own
It's
identity.
just a wild thing, yeah.
You have your own identity, sure, but like, you're not going to have a good time about it. It's not going to end
Yeah.
well.
We'll do the last question from Endline Worker Fan 2007. How many models have you built, and what is your favorite?
Uh, a fucking lot. I've built a lot of models. Um, the favorite's the one I'm still building, probably the Phoenix. That's pretty good. I think my KV one looks really cool. Uh,
Yeah, I'd say just pretty
I've
good.
got a motor in my Mark IV tank. That's pretty fun. Um, so there's a
Oh,
few.
I always forget you have that,
It's
and it's
fun.
like you've shown it to me multiple times. Yeah, it's a really nice model as well.
Oh, an SP Gaming face reveal when you don't want to see my face.
He's very ugly. I can
Yeah, I'm
confirm.
disgusting. I'm absolutely horrible.
His wife gets benefits payments from the government
She
for taking care of
does,
him.
like, just because of how
Yeah,
bad I look.
she gets a tax break for it too.
Yep, she literally doesn't pay
Yeah,
taxes because of how bad I look.
yeah. That's how you do it. So what I'm saying is, like, to the three women in here in this stream, barely even that. I'd assume like one. Well, his wife was the only one.
Yeah.
That's to be honest. Yeah, if you ever meet a woman and you're fuck ugly, just remind them that they can get tax breaks from the government for taking care of you. Oh, that's so dumb.
Ugh.
Oh,
If you
that's
want,
so
oh, if
stupid.
you want some dating tips, it wasn't my face that got me my wife. It's what gets you married is making them laugh. Literally, just dating advice for life, kids. Make a woman laugh, and you'll be good. Have a sense of humor and have hobbies, and you'll be fine. And maybe
Otherwise,
don't obsess over like the Nazis. That's a bit weird.
I was gonna tell you about like that might work as well, depending on who you meet. They might be autistic
You got a
enough.
point. You got a point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eye reveal is a compromise. My eyes are brown. There, you've had an eye reveal. Uh, where's
Alex, I honestly don't know which one your question is.
we're only answering them off a spreadsheet that we had. So yeah, I don't know.
If they're not on the thing, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, well, that was 2 hours and
those are
thirty
the
minutes.
moment.
That was movie length.
That's 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm never getting
It
back.
is until we do the 100K one, which is going to be even bigger.
Well, at least you didn't have a half step goal. You know, at least you're not telling me to do a 75K.
Oh
Is
God.
that what you're gonna tell me now?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't really want to do a 75K one, and that'll be around my birthday probably. So
Your birthday?
yes, it'll be
It's a
around my
birthday
birthday.
boy.
If things keep going the way they're going. But
What are you getting me for my birthday?
I'll get you a Zinger
That's this.
box.
Well, you already owe me a Singer bar. You can't. My birthday present can't be you repaying what you owe.
I'll get you two Zinger boxes.
Happy birthday! It's like just gives me a Singer bar. It's like, wait, hold on.
Just gonna throw Zinger burgers at you.
To be honest, that wouldn't be too bad.
No, it wouldn't.
I'm
But
I'm taking 2 weeks off for my birthday.
I will probably do another. Oh no, no, I am not doing another Jackbox party stream. That could have gotten me in a lot of trouble with how
No,
dark that got at the end. I have no
I wasn't
idea
even
if the
there for
Israeli.
that one, but I watched it and I was like, please, for the love of God.
I don't know how if the Israelis struck the Iranian embassy. I have no idea. I really don't.
Doesn't matter. Do we care? No, it's too
If
late.
they did
It's
a
gonna,
funny.
who knows?
Yeah, funny things happen.
The Iranians would tell us, if that
They would.
happened.
They would. Or they would make it up and say it anyway. But I'm gonna end
Yeah,
the
yeah, true,
stream
true, true.
there.
Yeah. Oh, it's
So,
brilliant.
oh wait, models. I usually build one 350 scale models of ships, one 35 scale tanks, one 48 scale planes, that kind of stuff.
There should be in the Discord server, in the Plastic Crack Addict
You can see the models I build
page.
in there. I
Yeah,
post
I
them
was
all
gonna
in the
say,
Discord.
yeah, his history posts them quite often. What he's painting or building.
Yeah.
If you love any sort of model building, honestly, it's a very good channel, and there are some really cool people. Like we have some. This one user's doing a giant ass Dora cannon.
Yeah,
We have
that's
one
fun.
guy who posts about trains every day,
He
where he's
does
just
like
building
his trains,
trains.
yes.
Yeah, and it's like we got Gundams, we got trains, we got one of the admins doing. I think it's a bolt action.
I think so.
Matilda
I'm
does.
doing a 1 350 scale Mikasa pre-dreadnought battleship right
Yeah,
now, so. But either way,
Yeah, no, so
I'm
yeah,
stopping the stream so you can.
yeah, I'm heading off as well. Yeah,
Yeah, this is I know this has gone for too long. But thank you all for coming. Join the
yeah.
Discord. You know, do that stuff. Thank
Come
you
and
to the
hang out.
patrons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come and hang
come
out.
by. All right, bye.